Happy Easter. To say that Ennis is buzzing or hopping or anything similar to that would be quite the understatement. That's what Munster hurling does. It brings the passions like this, with the skills, with the turns, with the twists and the subplots, and it brings rivalries so intense you can practically feel it.
This is special. Red and white, saffron and blue. And for the next 70 minutes, Ireland comes to a halt.
Who will we be talking about as All-Ireland champions?
Did they ever play in a game of this speed?
The decibel levels are off the scale. This is Munster hurling in Cork. He's been a marvellous run. Oh, what a fantastic goal! Unstoppable! Clare exposed once again. Great start by Cork. Side is an opportunity. Back in the bench. It's the tonic. The Clare needed. Still Mark Rogers tries to get inside. This is Rogers. Oh my word! Tony Kelly after. Oh, beautiful skill. Kelly! Oh, incredible! Tony Kelly, the magician. Cork have it. Can they get the equaliser? The ball is wide. It's the full-time whistle. Brian Lohan has guided the Banner County to their 5th All-Ireland title.
But are we witnessing the genesis of Cork domination now? Well, it is these men who are wearing the All-Ireland crowns at the moment. And despite the absence of the current hurler of the year, Brian Lohan has still been able to name all other 14 players who started last year's All-Ireland final. This Cork team, though, does feel different from the one edged out in extra time last July, if not necessarily personnel-wise. One national title already secured, but there are a couple of other cups they want that little bit more. What a way to open up the Munster Hurling Championship. It took extra time and 1 point to separate them at Croke Park, and now Clare and Cork meet in Ennis. We also have some semi-final football for you as well. Galway against Roscommon is coming up at 4 o'clock. But there is no real feeling to match that of Munster Hurling Championship Day. There's a bit of tension, maybe a bit of cockiness, definitely some nerves all hanging about in the air. Ennis has it all this Easter Sunday. And here come Cork. Would you believe no team from the county has ever won a championship match, certainly a men's hurling championship match in Ennis, although a certain Cork man here today is keen to point out he never played a championship match in this ground either. We have Anthony alongside Donal Oak, and I don't know, Donal Oak, if you managed to get your hands on a copy of yesterday's Examiner and read the words. This great Limerick team who are going for 7 in a row in Munster, they won 4 in a row All-Ireland titles. Were they ever as hyped up as this current Cork team? I don't think so.
I know, sure, Gasman, these fellas here, like when you think about Clare and you think back of all the years and you think of Ger Loughnane and all of his, behaviour that really drove on Clare and all the game, you think of this fella here, the whipping boys. These boys were the kings of hype, right? And now they're trying to put that over on us and bring it on. It's brilliant for the game. We love it. But they've some cheek in trying to label us with that term.
I never saw a national bookmaker paying out a join on the All-Ireland champions up before a ball is poked, so there's no need to worry about, Cork they're entitled to be favourites. They're on fire. We realise that. We hope we put up a better show than we did here in the league a few weeks back, but yeah, they're entitled to be hot favourites.
But you're talking about disrespect for these teams, who of course we know so badly want the Munster crown, which we will get to in a little while. Is there really a sense of disrespect down the Banner way?
Look, we probably don't ever remember All-Ireland champions being as written off for a game. I don't think either code, I don't remember it. But I suppose it's just that it has gone that way, that Cork have driven on since July, where our fellas seem to be in tailspin, relegated in the league. And we, outside of the Limerick game where we did fight in the Gaelic grounds that night, we've seen very little. And I'm worried that the hunger maybe has been sated by the magnificent victory last year. I mean, the celebrations went on for weeks and months, and look, it's a Brian Lohan led team though, so in his own spirit, I'm hoping that they'll dig deep today and really put on a show for the
And Joe, on that one, to be fair to Cork, last year after the All-Ireland final, it would have been really easy for Cork to focus on. Even we saw that last instance there, they didn't. Pat Ryan, they took their beating, they were very humble in the way they did it, and I think they've responded excellently.
Before we delve into this one in a little more detail, let's talk a little bit about Munster as a whole, because we also have Limerick, who will be looking to come back and get another one of not only 7 in a row, but obviously to get back to the All-Ireland stage as well. And you have Tip, who are so hard to read into, aren't they?
They are, and in fairness to Liam, I think he did a good job in settling the team for the league. But I suppose the league final has stuck a little pin in the balloon of Tip supporters. Was down there during the week. We can maybe sense that they're still a way off it. We know the talent they've come in, like 3 Harty Cups from 3 different parts of the county. Their under-20s are right back on track with Brendan, and yeah, I think Tip are a work in progress still, but Limerick, for me, still a very, very dangerous side for everybody. And you can see John has shaken it up, but he has shaken it up with star young lads, you know, Coughlin, English, O'Brien, all these guys getting their starts today. So yeah, they seem to have a good lot of options, as well as the hardcore of the team, as you said, going for 7 in a row Munster Championships.
You can both give us your top 3 in just a moment, but a quick word on Nicky Quaid's inclusion in goal. First of all, how they managed to keep it such a secret from all of us. Having a quick check with Henry, with the most famous cruciates in Irish sport yesterday, he was wondering, might it be different for a goalkeeper? Might it? I
think first of all, it's a great reflection on the camp that they have in Limerick, that they kept it so silent. It's some reflection on Nicky Quaid. You know, he's been such an outstanding goalkeeper over the last number of years at any level, not to mention an amateur, to be able to make it back to play in that type of environment today. You would worry about it though, I have to say it. I know people saying goals is maybe that you're going to be less physical activity. You still need to be really agile. Every goalkeeper now is expected to behave like a quarterback. I hope for his sake that it doesn't turn out to be too much of a high risk.
We'll get back to your predictions, your top 3, in a few minutes' time, but there really is no getting away from the fact ahead of this afternoon's game that for all the brilliance in this All-Ireland winning Clare lineup, the man who lit up last year's championship more than anyone else will not be involved. Not today anyway, but as we have heard this week, Shane O'Donnell does still have some ambition of playing for his county this year.
We're here today at the launch of Borgash Energy's continued support for the All-Ireland Senior Hurling Championship, and it's great to chat to you. How are you doing, first of all?
Yeah, feel good. It's nice to be back in Croke Park. Obviously, I've kind of been disconnected from, obviously, Clare, but even the GA kind of set up in general. It's been nice to be kind of disconnected since last year. When I got surgery started this year, I was told by a surgeon it's a 6-month recovery. Even in the world where this completely takes out my Clare campaign, it's still the right decision. I just imagine a situation like if I was fortunate enough to be in Croke Park again, like you're running down the left side of the wing, you're 50, 60 metres out, and I'm just like, I can't hit this. Do you know what I mean? Not to mention if somebody took a disliking to me and tried to pull on my arm, like there's a solid chance it would have came out. So all those kind of things factored into the decision that the surgery was probably inevitable. Yeah, there's a chance of me still playing. All I can say is I won't be surfacing in the Cork game or the Wharf game or those kind of things. So like, it's still up in the air. I can't give you a kind of concrete timeline on it, but in the next week or two, I will really kind of have a better idea of where that would land.
Limerick are the Munster champions. Clare have been beaten for the 3rd year in a row.
I always felt like we were moving in the right direction. Over the last few years, like even on the disappointing days, it was still a step in the right direction. For example, 2023, losing the Munster final against Limerick, we felt like that game was ours. But when we look back and compared to the year before, where we were like hanging on to Limerick's coattails, even though we drew the game before and we lost the next year in normal time, when you look at it, it was a far more complete performance. So like you frame it in whatever way it kind of helps you. I guess that's what everyone does. I think I've lost 5 Munster finals now, so it would be extremely disappointing to like close the book on a career that I can proudly look back on, but to have 5 occasions, one of which I feel like I genuinely threw the entire game myself. So
Munster Hurling Final 2018. Can Clare beat Cork for the first time in 86 years?
And I remember I was subbed with maybe 15 minutes ago. It's probably the earliest I was ever subbed in a game. And I was sitting on the sideline, genuinely I had this like fear response of being like, I've just thrown this away for them. I've managed to turn it around, but in that moment, that was definitely the hardest moment I've had a Clare jersey on my back. In our medal presentation last year, I won't get into too much of the detail, but Gerlach Nan was speaking, and he essentially said, the All-Ireland's great, but it's not a Munster, essentially was his message. So there definitely is that narrative that is the missing piece of what we've been able to achieve, and they're an incredible group. We have a nice blend of having the like senior group which are kind of my age group, and then the younger lads who've been like slowly coming through. Yeah, they've had some challenges in the league and some poor performances and some good performances, but ultimately when I look at them coming into the championship, I just feel confident that they will be able to deal with whatever's thrown at them.
We would all absolutely love to see him not standing there but out on the pitch this afternoone. Shane O'Donnell, what an incredible hurler, what an incredible talker, the amount of insight he gives. And Donald, there were two specific stories you actually want to bring up about Shane.
When you think about Shane, you can say so many things about him being a hurler, like that was represented in him being the hurler of the year last year. But as a fella, like you say, he's outstanding too. And I've many good memories of Shane. Two that come to mind there. I was involved with Clare. I was coaching the St. Coleman's Minors down in Clyne, and Shane was in UCC, and he asked him would he come down and join in a session with the lads, and he came down. And it was like he was one of the team. He was training inside the dressing with the boys, doing the training session, encouraging them and so on. Even one of the players raised it with me at Christmas there. Do you remember the day that Shane O'Donnell came down training with us? And then I was in the US a couple of years after that, a good few years after that, in Harvard University, and I was at an event and Shane was there at the same time. And I remember just observing him and listening to him, how articulate he was, how intelligent he was, and that guy was going there then on a scholarship, on a Fulbright scholarship, and you couldn't be but so impressed and thinking of what an ambassador he is for hurling, definitely, for the GA, but as importantly for Clare and for Ireland. And as a Cork man today, I am happy to see him out there sitting, but I think everyone will look forward to the day that we see Shane back in the field again. Just
a quick word on what he said there about, not about Shane himself, the need for this Munster crown, and even what Ger Loughnane said about it.
Yeah, I was at the night of the medals, John, and you know, really looking forward to a night of celebration, and Loughnane nearly came in and stuck it. You know, he just challenged them to win a Munster. You haven't done it until you win a Munster, so. But I'm sure, look, from Donald Oak's point of view, they've won the league. If they could put the All-Ireland with it, you'd be taking it as a year. But the Munster title is too long gone from Clare.
They did, however, ship 6 goals when Cork came down here for the league, Donald Oak.
Yeah, well, I think you're legally obliged to say in our sport that it was the league, but there was definitely some standout times. David McInerney there loses possession, and you see Shane Barrett, the whole lot opens up, and this was really uncharacteristic from a Clare defence point of view. Hardly got a touch. Then you see here Brian Hayes, again the consistent team, so much space, takes it on, the other league comes in and does cover, but Declan Dalton was almost able to take a puck out against Iver Quilligan. He had so much space. Again, consistent team. Barrett does well to go short here. Good sport, an intelligent ball from Tim O'Mahony, but it's unusual that you'd gather a ball with that amount of space in you, be able to work around the full back like Conor Cleary and be able to score. To be fair to Cork, they are able to change it up, and this long puck out has worked well for them in a certain amount of games. Again, a really good finish from Hayes, but we go on to the next goal, and that team of space, almost no contact coming from Clare. You see Dalton here going through. Again, it's a really good finish. The other goal was an own goal, and you'd have to wonder today, Brian Lohan, he was looking worried there. He always looks worried even on a good day, but you'd have to wonder, is he thinking about setting up the team in some way? And I'm very interested to see the Clare half back line.
Well,
and
the reason we're looking at Darragh Lohan is because there's been a late change to the full back line, because Conor Cleary is out and Darragh Lohan comes in.
And that's definitely going to be a big challenge. It just adds to the whole thing. Are Clare going to create that link between their half back line and the full back line? You just can't see them setting up today. Will they bring someone from their own attack, put them out in the midfield? Will they put someone on Fitzgibbon? And would they like the idea of Conlon then sitting in front of that defence? It'll be very interesting.
School of thought going around, Joanne, that was the talk, that Cathal Malone did so well in Fitzgibbon in the final last year that he might drop and pick him up and John would cover the full back line. That's not been Brian Lohan's way for 5 seasons. This is the start of season 6 championship. So I don't know, I find it hard to see it. We're lucky Darragh Lohan has been very well blooded, but that's going to be a tall task for 3 young lads today now on top of the Cork full forward line that's on fire.
And mention a tall as well, sorry Joanne. they're not the tallest full back line either, Anthony. And if Clare decide not to play in that role, they'll still have to connect in, because like we were talking about beforehand, it's nearly impossible to mark a player now one-on-one. You need your other defenders coming in to cover and support the defence.
And of course we do have this bizarre situation of Clare having that home advantage, Clare having that status of All-Ireland champions, of Clare having won their last 4 championship games against Cork, and of Cork being pretty strong favourites to win today. What an amount of pressure to rest with Pat Ryan.
Pat, good luck today. What have the last few weeks been like for you guys?
Yeah, look, just getting ready for championship really. Look, obviously a bit disappointed that we lost Cormac to an injury there last weekend, so but it's nothing too big, so look, great opportunity for everyone to get a start today, and we're looking forward to it.
Where do you have the balance lie, Pat? Training work on the pitch or in the analysis room, or a bit of both?
Look, on the pitches, what everything is all sorted about. Look, obviously we had a great game in the league final that helped sharpen things up, but look, obviously into the lines then, knowing the All-Ireland champions above an Ennis, so great challenge for us to see how we are.
Last question for you. You expecting a huge battle here today? The previous meeting have no bearing whatsoever, I would imagine.
Absolutely no bearing. I don't think that league game, I'd say, look, well, from our point of view, look, we know we're facing the All-Ireland champions, as we said. Look, we haven't been able to beat them in the last 3 years. Huge task for us today, but I think we're ready to give it a good shot.
Okay, thanks, Pat.
Cheers, thank you.
And for all the goals that Cork have scored in the league campaign in particular, is it at the back where everything has been built on?
Yeah, I think this is the change, and this is why I think they're more solid. And look, I'm not even going to show Tony Kelly's goal, because people are probably fed up with watching it, particularly from Cork. But see Mark Rogers here, Dave Fitzgerald, Mark Coleman commits. Does he commit though? He doesn't do anything. How does he get the shot away? Declan Dalton has tracked. Again, earlier this year was there live on the night, like Owen Downey gets sucked out of position completely, breaks to Craig Morgan. Look at the space. And I think they went away to Portugal after this. Dylan Walsh, easy finish, and tip looked. But look, you have to be a bit ruthless at the back. Joanne and like Peter Duggan caused all sorts of trouble, and we're hoping he might do the same today. But you see Micheál Mullins and Robert Downey coming in here. He was not going any further there. Tip needed a goal here in the league final. No better man than Jake Morris to get it. But look at the cover. There's no way in, so he takes the point. And I think this is, you know, Rob Downey's positioning. We all saw the goal he got last year in the All-Ireland, Moraden up the field. He's sitting deeper. He's covering, giving the cover. Look at here again the way they're set up. Very same man, Morgan. Look at Coleman we highlight. Look at the 3 full back line in their spot. And it's who gets the block in? Coleman. All they give away is a 65. And that man there, with his back to us, Wayne Sherlock, along with Pat, obviously. But I'd say that Wayne Sherlock was one of my favourite cornerbacks of all time. And he's a fair bit to do, I'd say, with the way they've set up, and no more of these soft goals. And as much as the league final and the league games, they scored 13 goals in the last few games. They concede, like Collins and Saunderson hadn't the save to make.
No, okay, we'll have more on that a little while, but they do say that the pitch in Ennis here is big, but it can feel tight. Michael Dignan and Damon can give us a good sense of what it's like down there at the moment.
Good afternoon, Joanne. There's a nice wind blowing down, first of all, towards the town end, Mick, and secondly then the conditioning of the Cork players compared to even recent seasons is really ramped up.
Yeah, I noticed that in Páirc Uí Chaoimh the day of the league final. They ran out past me, and you know, huge Brian Hayes, like some big man already, but has obviously bulked up over the winter. They're in great shape. Yeah, nice little breeze, probably worth 3 or 4 pints blowing down the field here, maybe towards the far corner, but everything well set up, great crowd in, great excitement around.
Yeah, massive crowd in. The home side here, Mick, All-Ireland champions, coming in here, written off by a lot of people on the outside. Will they feel disrespected?
Well, that's the big one we always talk about. We were written off, no one gave us a chance, so I think there'll be, Brian Lohan will be using that all week as an incentive. Look, their form wasn't great during the league. It all depends on whether the hunger is there or not. You know, they've won the All-Ireland last year after working really hard for 5 years. Can they come out again and show that same hunger? Conor Cleary lost as well, obviously at full back. You know, they have their matchups there with him and Brian Hayes, but Darragh Lohan very experienced coming in there. So it really depends. I expect Clare to improve as the game goes on. I think it might take them 20 minutes to get up to the pace of the game, but where they are at that stage depends, because Cork have been starting their games really, really well.
In the league match, when Cork put 6 goals past Clare, Ethan Toomey had 30 possessions. He surely won't get that space today, Mick. Do Clare have to be brave and push up on the Cork half-back line and stop them from building the attacks today?
Well, I think those changes for Cork, Ethan Toomey going to midfield, Darragh Fitzgibbon going to centre forward, and Shane Barrett going to the wing, probably came out of the All-Ireland final last year. You know, Shane Barrett had a tough time in John Conlon in the final. They're giving him that bit more leeway on the wing. Fitzgibbon more abrasive than maybe Barrett, and more experienced. And I think Ethan Toomey's found a new lease of life in the middle of the field. So I think but Clare very strong in that area, around the half-back line, middle of the field as well. But that'll be crucial. That's where the big battles will be there.
Okay, I'll ask you to call it, Mick, before we go back
Look,
to John.
I think based on the league, I think on Cork having the game a couple of weeks ago, they'd have to be hot favourites. But I'd expect Clare to be very, very close going down the stretch, but Cork to win it.
Okay, thanks for your time, Mick. Joanne, that breeze is definitely picking up, heading down towards the town end.
And definitely picking up is the music in the background and the atmosphere as well. Tickets long gone, so sit back, get ready, because we have every single second on the way.
Championship Hurling, the clash of the Ash. Helmet and Hurley at the ready. Centra, proud sponsors of the Hurling Championship.
Do top intercounty teams have full plans as to what way to play when you win the coin toss? Apparently not. Rob Downey decided there and then. Cork won the toss, they play with the wind. Apart from the slight breeze, what might this game hinge on, do you think, John Lowe?
Well, we spoke about the Clare defence and how they were going to look at it. I wonder how they're going to set up from an attack point of view. When you look at here, you see Peter Duggan. I'm a big fan of his. Brilliant player, huge man, brilliant skill. I think that Clare will probably look at putting him on the edge of the square, especially with the wind, and see can they go with that direct ball and put, like, both of the Downies have been outstanding for Cork, but just to see could Duggan put Owen under a bit of pressure.
And he did do in the league match, like, and you know, he won 4 balls in a row. He eventually got sent off himself, which I thought was kind of soft, but significantly Pat Ryan was able to take off Owen and bring on Damien Cahalan, probably a bigger, stronger man. And for me, the bench, and without Conor Cleary as well, that's giving Cork, like, you look at the guys on the bench like Declan Dalton, how important was he to the team last year? Kingston, Robbie O'Flynn, young Dudsey Healy, what a find, and he's not getting a start. So they have so many options off the bench, Joanne.
Yes, they have, and the last few words being said to the players. Let's head up to our commentary team now. Michael has made his way up to Marty Morrissey.
Thank you very much, Joanne. This is the Clare team that will start their Munster Championship campaign 2025 here in Ennis and defend their All-Ireland title won last year. 13 of the side that started in the All-Ireland final in 2024 against Cork unnamed, with Darragh Lohan replacing Conor Cleary at fullback and John Conlon a key figure at number 6. David Fitzgerald and Colin Malone continue their centre-field partnership with All-Stars 2024, Tony Kelly and Mark Rogers joining Peter Duggan in the half-forward line. The major name missing in that Clare attack is last year's Hurler of the Year, Shane O'Donnell. Consequently, Ryan Taylor joins Aidan McCarthy and David Reedy in the full-forward line. 16 to 26 on the Clare bench look strong enough, with Aaron Shanaher, Shane Meehan and Ian Galvin likely to get a piece of the action sometime this afternoon. The newly crowned league champions Cork have been very impressive in recent weeks and months. Cork start with 14 of the team that played in last year's All-Ireland final. Ethan Toomey, who scored 1-2 in the league final, gets the green light instead of Declan Dalton in the middle of the field, while Mark Coleman gets the call-up at left half-back instead of the injured Cormac O'Brien. All-Star 2024, Seamus Harnedy, is back at number 10. At 36 years of age, Patrick Horgan is starting his 18th championship campaign for his county, while Alan Connolly and Brian Hayes are in flying form. The Cork bench looks strong rather than last season, I would suggest, with Ger Mellerick, Robbie O'Flynn, Declan Dalton, and the new kid on the block, Diarmuid Healy, ready to explode onto the championship arena for 2025. Wonderful atmosphere. It is electric around the town of Ennis since this morning as we look forward to the Battle of the Champions. Michael Dignan, I know you gave your thoughts just a short time ago, but everything about this is a little bit special. It is magical.
It is indeed, Marty. Look, massive crowd. Look, people have reviews on the championship starting so early. Started yesterday in the hurling. Another couple of weeks, I think, would be better. But look at the way the people have bought into this Munster round robin over the last number of years, and bringing the matches to the provincial towns has been a masterstroke. Great atmosphere.
Singing our Ron Aveen is Denise Phelan from Rouen. Cork are seeking their first championship win this afternoon over Clare since 2021. In the 4 subsequent meetings, including the Munster Championship and the extraordinary All-Ireland final last year, Clare have held the upper hand. It's the sound of the summer, the birds singing, the crowds roaring, and it's the clash of the ash. It's the Munster Hurling Championship. It's the battle of the champions. All-Ireland champions Clare against the newly crowned league champions Cork. That's the script, that's the background. New chapter, new sliotar, new game, whistle blown, and the game is on. As Clare playing from left to right as we look at it. Cork won the toss and playing with a side wind advantage in this opening half.
Yeah, and as Don Logue suggested, you see David Reedy out at centre forward. Peter Duggan got inside straight away.
Liam Gordon, refereeing his 10th championship match in the province of Munster, throwing the ball in as Cork went into the attack for the very first time, shoulder to shoulder, no free given. Adam Hogan thought the whistle had been blown without a hurling. He puts it over the sideline ball. Referee had blown his whistle, indicating that that is going to be a free. And there's a little bit of afters continuing on now. And the referee, who emphasised to the 2 captains that he wanted that everything would be about the game of hurling, and that the physicality he would eradicate very quickly, and that all communication would be through the 2 captains. But it's shoulder to shoulder, it's hip to hip.
Yeah, and Adam Hogan, he's a brace of cornerbacks. I love watching him playing. He's on the hip of the forward all the time. He's on Alan Connolly, Lohan is on Hayes, and Lean is on Paddy Horgan.
Clare conceded 6 goals and 20 points in the Alliance Hurling League just about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and they're setting out their stall early. The 11th commandment, that shall not happen again, is clearly the attitude. Sideline ball.
Yeah, Ryan Taylor's out in the middle of the field as well. We expected that. Brilliant player on the loose ball. He's picking up Ethan Toomey, and that's that pace we talked about, the impact Toomey had in the league final. So Clare have their homework well done here, and they're getting their matchups as right as they can.
Sideline cut is a good one. Coming across the gather, it is Conor Lean, one of the finds of last year, getting to the ball first, laying it off. This man's performance is crucial. It's Tony Kelly. Great block down by Ethan Toomey. Cork sticking to their task. Here comes Tim O'Mahony. Formerly in a former life was a wing-back, now midfield, getting a touch in. As Cork go into the attack for the very first time. Danger here from a Cork perspective. And Brian Hayes couldn't get a full connection when the referee had blown his whistle. He's indicating that it was a jersey pull before that, so it's going to be a free in for Cork. But already that quick ball in to the Cork attack is asking serious questions.
Yeah, look, it's like the All-Ireland final last year. There's no sweepers, everyone is man on man. Darragh Lohan giving away a few inches to Hayes. Lohan's a big man, but Hayes a huge man. Patrick Horgan there with that touchdown there, he probably had a yard to catch it himself. But Hayes, only one thing in his mind, Marty, heading straight for the goal, that he was pulled back. So nice handy free for Patrick Horgan to start. And of course Brian Hayes scored 3 goals and a point in the league encounter in that match I mentioned ago, as Patrick Horgan lifts and strikes, and Cork are up and running with the opening score, coming after 3 minutes and 14 seconds. Eibhear Quilligan sends it down the terrace side, down towards the River Fergus. Wonderful catch. Back first, Tim O'Mahony goes for the long ball. 3 against 3 up here. Conor Lean is trying to get a touch with it. Eibhear Quilligan has to scoop it out. Didn't get the first touch, and Cork go pursuing and chasing. The Fecal goalkeeper is well out of position, but he's still there trying to manfully get the ball up. Cork, however, have it the slipper as they have the options available. Here comes the shot from Darragh Fitzgibbon. Is it inside the post? Is it outside? It's inside. It's a great score by the Charleville man from North Cork. Yeah, and I think that's been a huge part of Patrick Horgan's play as he's got older, is his ability to bring other players into the game. Just a nice simple pass back out there to make sure to score.
Wonderful catch as well by Kieran Joyce. The start of the momentum. Conor Lean going long. Clare asking questions for the first time here. The referee spotted an off the ball pull there, and he's explaining to the players exactly why he's giving a free, And I have to say the level of communication, because we are very fortunate to have the referee my job. We can hear it in our headphones here. But the level of communication I've noticed over the last couple of weeks, particularly in the football games, now with Liam Gordon here in the hurling, is really extraordinary.
Yeah, it's great to see, and it's great to hear. And Liam's very clear there in his instructions so far to the players. Just to recap there, Ryan Taylor in the middle of the field, David Fitzgerald are wing forward, Aidan McCarthy is drifting out, and Mark Rogers has gone in the corner, two-man full forward line with Rogers and Peter Duggan. And Mark Rogers showing his strength there. He's brilliant on that one-to-one ball, and great start to the game.
Ed McCarthy putting that between the posts and over the bar. Patrick Collins goes for distance, sends it out towards Brian Hayes, trying to get the ball in. Good ball inside to Ethan Toomey on the turn, but the ball is to the wrong side of the goalpost and wide.
Yeah, and that's Ryan Taylor's value. I mentioned him there, his pace. He was able to get back on Ethan Toomey there. Lovely ball by Hayes over the top. Good covering by Taylor.
Eibert Quilligan going for distance again. Robert Downey comes across to gather it. Sideline ball has been given. And it's going Cork's way. Kieran Joyce from Castlemartyr. Dropping it up, Conor Lee. Trying to go back to gather with his Dermot Ryan. Cork hovering. Trying to scoop it out. In there is John Conlon, wearing number 6. Gathering the ball is Alan Connolly. Scoops it up and sends it straight between the posts and over the bar.
Yeah, Marty, it's on the early stages, but you have to say, when the ball goes in, they look so dangerous. They're just a little break away from maybe getting in over the top. Now, the Ireland final started that way last year as well, and Clare haven't had a match maybe for the last month, so they're going to be a little bit sore out the blocks.
David Reedy battling here. Cathal Malone adding the little bit of support. Gone back to prevent him gaining any ground is Tim O'Malley. David Reedy again. Great defending by Cork. Referee is indicating an advantage. Free to Clare, as the ball is wide. But you have to say in the early stages, Michael, that the Cork attack look a lot more dangerous than Clare, because the Cork defence seemed to be able to cope with the early ball in.
Yeah, that's it. Well, look, Clare, as I said, trying to find her feet, but still looked at Marty, 7 minutes gone, top just over is 3-2, there's nothing in it, but they do look like they're just on the, maybe one break of the ball away from breaking through on goal. Alan Connolly there took his point, half a chance to head for the goal as well.
Once again, it's going to be Ed McCarthy, the Aina Kilnamona club, in his 5th season. Scored 12 points in the league game against Cork. 11 of those were from frees. He's already scored 1. This is a little bit more difficult, as you can see. But well within his range and capability. And the umpire will raise the white flag again.
Yeah,
happy enough so far, Shane O'Donnell.
Yeah, good free there from Ed McCarthy. He's developed into a brilliant free tackle for Clare.
Tony Kelly, one-handed hurling, gathering it, sending it low. Knew he was possibly going to be hooked. Ed McCarthy looking around between the 45 and 65. This ball is swinging to the right and wide.
Yeah, lovely bit of skill there by Tony Kelly. Probably should have given the ball a bit earlier to McCarthy, but then he'd be disappointed with that wide.
Quick puck out, long ball, consequently up towards Patrick Horgan and company. Patrick Horgan this time miscues it, sends the ball left and wide, but there was a pull across, and the referee is blowing the whistle, clearly indicating that he was not happy with the challenge. Clare protesting. Just saying to David McInerney, that has to be better.
Yeah, that was off the ball. We were following the ball there, so I didn't see what happened. Patrick Horgan disappointed with the wide before that. And yeah, he's indicating he slapped David off the ball. Silly free. They're things that drive a manager nuts. You know, letting Patrick Horgan put down the ball after hitting the wide. That's a 2-point swing.
Heading towards his 37th birthday on the 5th of May.
Still wide.
Patrick Horgan sends that left and wide. He'll be bitterly disappointed.
Yeah, he sets very high standards. He's not going to be happy with that. He looks so fit though, Martin, the last couple of months.
Eibhear Quilligan's puck out, going to be gathered by Mark Coleman. Sending it into the centre. Cut out on this occasion by Carl Malone. Scooping it forward is Dara Fitzgibbon. He's already scored a point. Heading towards the D, heading towards the 20. Here comes the shot, and that is going to be another point. Good score by Dara Fitzgibbon.
Yeah, that's his second point, but look inside him, Marty. Shane Barrett had ran all the way beside him. There was a goal on there, flicked it into him. I know at the early stages lads like to settle into the game. Fitzgibbon at 11 has been sensational. He was bad enough in the middle of the field for scoring 4 and 5 points a game, but he's really dangerous at 11.
Eibhear Quilligan going for the middle channel this time. Beautifully gathered, and Tony Kelly has it. Heading towards goal, he decides to take the point. There was acres of Cusack Park in front of him, but he decided, wisely perhaps, to take the score.
Yeah, but just watch Duggan changing hands there. He switched to hurling his left hand, caught the ball with his right hand. Anthony Daly mentioned him before the game there. Brilliant player in the air, or it was Don Logue actually, and a lovely little slip pass, lovely score.
Again, Patrick Collins goes for distance. Getting a little touch on. Falls nicely for the Cork man. And he avails of the space to send that over the bar. Good score from Cork. Directly from Patrick Collins' puck out. Simplicity in motion here.
Dermot Ryan ball watching a bit there, you know, and that's where Cork are so dangerous. They're switching direction, all their forwards on the move, and Harnedy, what a player he's been for Cork, and back today straight into the team. That's how important he is.
Very good point by Seamus Harnedy. Carl Malone looking for the run. It's one of them, two of them. I think they're both holding on to each other. That's Mark Rogers and Niall O'Leary. O'Leary under pressure. Here's the call from his keeper, Patrick Collins. He's heading towards the River Fergus, but going long up towards Brian Hayes. Tara Lohan sticking to him like he was still Brian Hayes. Big man from the south side of Cork City, St. Finbarr's, producing more stars like what they did in the past. But this time, under severe pressure, sends it wide. Third wide of the match for Cork. Beautifully caught by David Fitzgerald. Chasing him is Kieran Joyce. Fitzgerald makes an angle. There will be some point from literally along the sideline, but again the ball is wide. No hanging about in terms of the puck out. It comes as far as Dara Fitzgibbon. 3 against 3 again. Little pull of the hurley. Brian Hayes getting away from Dara Fitzgibbon. Trying to come in along the end line. Still coming along the end line. Brilliant. Simplicity again. Causing problems as he did in the Alliance Hurling League 5 weeks ago. The St. Finbarr's man rattles the back of the Clare net after just 12.5 minutes.
Yeah, that's too easy, Marty, in a way. Look at Dermot Lean. He kind of stood off and Darren Lohan beaten, came in late. Brilliant goal. The pace of the puckouts is really what's catching me, Marty. There's a number of things there in the last few plays. Not a chance to even comment on them. The ball is out so quick, and that's suiting Cork down to the ground. Clare getting no chance to settle. And look, Hayes has been on fire during the league, and he's bringing that form into the game. A great start by him.
But the early signs were there, Michael, that Cork full forward line were posing problems right from the throw in.
But they're playing with such confidence. You know, they expect every time the ball comes in, they expect to get a score.
Flicking it away up to far as Tim O'Mahony. Looking around, well hooked on this occasion by Carl Malone. Seamus Harnedy coming in to lend assistance. Malone is fouled. It's a free for the Banner County.
It's a great hook there by Carl Malone. And like Clare trying really, really hard, but Cork getting their scores that little bit easier. And this is what they've been doing. We saw them against Tip. You know, they can just destroy you in a few minutes, and the space back there. John Conlon hasn't touched the ball yet, Marty, at 6. Didn't play very much during the league. Dara Fitzgibbon moving everywhere, and I think the half back line can't give any support to the full back line because they've their hands full with Barrett, Fitzgibbon and Harnedy. And just look at the room inside of the full forward line.
Aidan McCarthy going for his 3rd point of the match. The umpires have no doubt it's bang on target. I'm just thinking though, Michael, Cork have scored 13 goals and 66 points in their last 3 league games. 6-20 against Clare, 4-22 against Galway, and 3-24 against Tipperary. It is an outstanding piece of work by a team that is really playing at its very best. and they've already got 1 goal here and causing problems to the All-Ireland champions. Ball comes down towards Aidan McCarthy, playing very deep now, trying to get away from his marker. That's Sean O'Donoghue, going long, 1 against 1, dropping it in towards Peter Duggan. Good work by Owen Downey. Ball comes out towards David Reedy. Still Downey there, all-star full-back, 2024. Sideline ball going to Cork.
Yeah, Marty, that league match you mentioned, Clare had 12 of the team that's played today. Here's it's Dermot Ryan in trouble here, walking off the field. He'll be a big loss if he has to go. It looks like Keane Galvin is coming in.
So a change on the Clare team. They were hoping that Dermot Ryan, who played in a challenge match against Dublin recently, would be able to continue in the championship because he is a key figure. But Keane Galvin from Clarecastle is taking his place, and he has now developed some league experience and the championship last year as well. Conor Lean coming in. Looked like a free to me, to be honest with you, to Cork. Yeah. And referee is now giving the free as David Fitzgerald was taking too many steps.
Interesting there between the ref and Patrick Horgan. Liam Gordon put it to Patrick Horgan that he got the ball first, and Patrick says no way did he. So I think he went through the back of him as well. But
Patrick Horgan, 4 times an All-Star, 2013, 17, 18 and 2019. And this time he hits the target after a previous disappointment.
But Marty, that league match I was saying, there was 12 of the Clare team from the day playing that, they only 10 of the Cork team. So like if Clare had 8 or 9 lads come back, you'd say, you know, they have a better chance. But Cork have that form that they've just, I think they got far more aggressive this year than they were last year.
Ball dropping down, batted away superbly. Carl Malone, nice sidestep, heading towards the 45-metre line. Still Carl Malone, and Malone finishes, but he finishes with sending the ball wrong side of the post and wide.
That's 3 on right. He did brilliantly. That's 3 on that post. You know, the wind is swirling out there. You have to go for the left post.
Ball is dropping down again towards Brian Hayes. John Conlon gets to the ball, this time loose ball. In comes David McInerney. Cork attackers are chasing everything. Adam Hogan not being allowed to come out freely with the ball. It's going to be a free for the All-Ireland champions inside the D here. As Alan Connolly was holding on to the fecal man for dear life. Eibhear Quilligan coming out to take the free.
Yeah, you can see him slowing it down as well here, because that breeze, you know, it's not massively strong, but it's worth a few points.
On Taoiseach Micheál Martin, a proud Nemo Rangers man. His son actually was playing for the Cork footballers last night. They produced a really wonderful performance, just disappointing at the end. But he's here supporting his county as the ball comes out towards Kieran Joyce. 2 All-Ireland medals at under 20 level.
A bit of ping pong. I don't know where either of those balls were going, but
John Conlon. Oh, it's an easy ball to give away. Here comes Alan Connolly bearing down in goal. Here comes the shot. Great save by Eibhear Quilligan. And that really is a ball that should have been cleared more succinctly and accurately, but John Conlon was there to execute the final clearance. Down towards Ryan Taylor. Good hands, better hands, far as David Reedy, trying to get away from Robert Downey. Robert Downey fouls him. Much better ball. The delivery was superb, and the fielding by David Reedy equalled it, and he was causing problems for Cork.
Yeah, well, John Conlon, the must-relieve man in Cusack Park, gave away that ball. Great save from Eibhear Quilligan. Connolly hit the ball off the ground, and there's Reedy, you know, put the head down, headed for the goals. Hard for the big man against the small man there to get the tackle in. He stumbled over him, and Clare are going to be happy enough that save is massive, and they've taken the sting out of it a little bit.
So Aidan McCarthy going for his 4th point of the match. Plays his football with Kilmurray O'Brien, hurling with Ina Kilnamona. He's 25 this year. Multi-talented. As McCarthy lifts and sends the slither straight between the posts. 4 frees in a row now scored by Aidan McCarthy. This was the goal opportunity. Eibhear Quilligan, outstanding save.
That's a brilliant save. You know, Connolly kept it down, bounced up, and Quilligan kept the eye on it.
Short puck out from Patrick Collins. Gives it towards Sean O'Donoghue. Conor Lean seen tripping Patrick Horgan. And there's dissent from Clare. And the referee is sending everybody away, and the free will be taken a lot closer. In fairness to the referee, he told the two captains, Robert Downey and Tony Kelly, at the throw-in that he was taking no dissent whatsoever.
The problem there with Dermot, he did clip his heels, but he'd only one hand on the hurley, the other hand on the back. You need to keep your two hands, get the ball to ground. But Patrick Horgan is making great runs in there, and he's causing all sorts of problems.
Patrick Horgan has found his rhythm now. Sends that again between the posts and raises a white flag. Made his debut for his club, Glen Rovers, 20 years ago. This year at 17 years of age.
Some career. Clare getting it hard to get scores from play. They've only got one so far from Tony Kelly. So the power there. Downey just threw really out of the way.
Downey brothers combining. Younger brother roared at the older brother to give it to him, and he did. Clare trying to put the pressure on. The helmet is gone. Referee will stop play immediately as Kieran Joyce was coming out with it. The move from midfield back to the half-back line has certainly benefited this Cork team for Kieran Joyce. But then when you have a talent like Kieran Joyce, you can play him anywhere. Peter Duggan telling Sean O'Donoghue to get away from it in a positive way. Liam Gordon is explaining to the players that once the helmet comes off, it's a free, and stop arguing with him. I just want to make sure that everybody...
Here's Brian Hayes again, Marty.
Here's Brian Hayes coming in on the end line.
Yeah, just pops it up. Look at Dermot Lean coming in, but he was afraid to leave Patrick Horgan. He should have came earlier, maybe hoosed him out over the line, but that's the fear of all the other Cork forwards. But I think Liam Gordon, he's doing a great job. He's nearly explaining too much, I think, to the lads, and he's encouraging this. There's a chat on every ball. But that's gone in football now. There's no dissent at all. It's 50 metres up the field.
Oh, no. It's certainly working. Now, Tony Kelly and Tim O'Mahony. Ball comes loose and available, picked up by Owen Downey. A race for possession. Alan Connolly and Adam Hogan. That's going to be an interesting battle. The hurley flies, the slither is hit, and away comes Shane Barrett. Heard the call, gives it back. Seamus Harnedy to Tim O'Mahony. Into the centre towards Dara Fitzgibbon. O'Mahony on the overlap on his shoulder, back to Fitzgibbon. Beautiful combination by Cork. Heading goal bound, and an opportunity. Here comes a rasper. And it went across the face of the goal. And there was only one thing on the Blarney man's mind: the back of the Clare net.
Yeah, but that was a brilliant interplay there between Tim O'Mahony and Dara Fitzgibbon. And Fitzgibbon could have popped it over, but he saw Barrett and he goes for the goal. That's the way they're thinking. That's the pace they have. And Clare just hanging on there by a thread. They're 5 points down. They've only got one from play in 22.5 minutes. And Cork just, really dictating all over the field.
Eibhear Quilligan again decided to go for the long ball. David Reedy got a touch off the boss of the hurley, but it's sideline ball for Cork. Going to be taken by Mark Colban. Good to see Mark back in the Cork jersey again after a period on the bench as he experienced an injury. We look at Pat Ryan there, who's doing a great job as Cork manager. All-Ireland final last year, league champions already, and today the opening round of the Munster Hurling Championship. Beautiful cut in, putting the pressure on the Clare defence. Lovely pick up by Brian Hayes. Adam Hogan's trying to stay with him. Brian Hayes under pressure scores a wonderful point.
Yeah, Martin, we talk a lot about the physicality, the pace of Cork, but their first touch, their skill levels, like that line ball came 70 yards across the field. Hayes, big man, lovely first touch into his hand and pushes away his man, uses his strength and over the bar.
Coming together with his Ryan Taylor, who's more familiar territories around midfield. Had a long-term injury last year, just made it back for the concluding stages of the championship. Fine hurler, named at top of the right, but playing now around the midfield area. In fact, he's marking Ethan Toomey. Worrying times for the Clare manager, Brian Lohan. 24 minutes played. Aidan McCarthy comes between his own 45 and 65 to take this. throws every muscle behind it, but it's gone to the left and wide. Disappointment for Clare. That's their 4th wide of the game. Ballinhassig keeper Patrick Collins. Garda, based on Anglesey Street in Cork, takes the puck out for his county. Breaking ball picked up on this occasion by David Fitzgerald. Into the centre. Good hands by Mark Rogers. And this is again going to the wrong side of the post. Clare shooting is a little bit off, to say the least, and that is their 5th wide of the game. Puck out comes to Ethan Toomey, sending it heading towards Patrick Horgan. Beautiful wrists, laying it onto the pathway of Alan Connolly. Glen Rovers and Blackrock combining here. Connolly, there's another goal coming. Brian Hayes, back of the net. The 3 lads in the full forward line that have been causing problems since 2 o'clock this afternoon have combined magnificently. Hoggy, Connolly, Hayes, back of the net. Cork, 2nd goal.
Look at that first touch again, the angle and run. Steps, plenty of steps there by Connolly, but he breaks through. And great pass across. Hayes, simple task, but Connolly then over to Hogan straight away. There's been a bit of aggro going on there, pushed him onto the ground afterwards. But Cork could have 2 more goals, Mark. This is totally dominant from them, and you know, Clare really under pressure here in this game to stay in it.
Great block down. David McInerney's effort blocked by Tim O'Mahony. Rebound comes out to the Charleville man, and Dara Fitzgibbon. Automatic choice for the All-Star team last year in midfield. Now moved to the 40 and wearing number 11 in the Munster Championship after what? 26 minutes of play. He's now scored 3 times, 3 points.
Yeah, that aggression I talked about, legitimate aggression I meant there, evident there. Tim O'Mahony, who's been outstanding again throughout the league with a brilliant block down straight over the bar.
Mark Coleman holding down Tony Kelly. So going to be a free for Clare. And the gaps that were exposed, and we've always said, Michael, league and championship were different, but the gaps that Cork exposed 5 weeks ago in that league, I mean, I was here, and they opened Clare right through the middle. It was beautiful to watch if you happen to be from Cork, but look at what they're doing again today.
Exactly, and you know, Cork or Clare have made no attempt to drop anyone back to support the full backline, even maybe drop some of their half-forward line out the field. But it's because Cork are dominant in every position. They can't get a foothold, they can't get the ball. And you mentioned the wides. Cork have had 4, Clare have had 5, but when you're hanging in the game, those wides mean an awful lot more, and they were all easy enough chances from play.
Clare have scored since the 18th minute, which is almost 10 minutes to go now. And Ed McCarthy is going to try and keep the Banner County's hopes alive with his 5th point of the game. Just inside the Cork 65-metre line. It's going to reach its target, but the ball is wide. It curled at the last. Peter Duggan has gone in to argue with the referee. I just thought at the very end it was there. We're looking at the replay of the goal. Wonderfully worked by the Cork full forward line. Between them, they are really causing problems for Clare. That ball, that scissor, just looked like it was going inside the post. Meanwhile, down at the other end, Dara Fitzgibbon bearing down in goal, trying to, once again, Eibhear Quilligan, as Dara Fitzgibbon was trying to do a Brian Hayes by flicking it over the head of the keeper, Eibhear Quilligan, and the Fecal man did really well. 2nd good save by Eibhear Quilligan.
Yeah, John Conlon, one of the great centre-backs, but he's in big trouble with Dara Fitzgibbon. And again, if Dara looked to his right there, Patrick Horgan was completely unmarked. He'd drawn in 4 men. He could have flicked it out to him. There was another goal on there. And genuinely, like since the start of the game, every ball that goes up, you're thinking goal. And that's how good this forward line is.
Patrick Horgan going to take the 65. Scored 7 points in the league final against Tipperary and Páirc Uí Chaoimh. In fact, he made his debut against Tipperary back in 2008. And the Glen Rovers man is still producing the magic for club and for county. And for Pat Ryan, it's been a scintillating and exciting opening 29 minutes. 2-10 for Cork, 5 points for Clare. And they are worth every single score. Back again for us, Mark Coleman has the vision to see Patrick Horgan available. The diagonal ball is now planned. Beautiful hands. Beautiful hands by Brian Hayes. The overlap is Shane Barrett. He'll go for the goal perhaps as well. He takes his point. This Cork team are looking so well. Beautiful hurling by the Rebel County.
Yeah, they're playing as a team, which leaves them totally unmarkable. If there was anyone greedy up there, gives you a chance, but they're all throwing the ball to the man in the best position as much as possible, making a huge difference.
John Condon aiming for Peter Duggan. He gathers it. He has to go for goal. He takes it off. Brilliant save. Patrick Collins. When Clare finally opened up the Cork defence, they found that Collins was there. It's still alive. Mark Rogers. Referee saying he was being pulled. It's a free for Clare. But my word, what a fantastic save by Patrick Collins. This has class written all over it. A rasper. He had to dive to his right. Cat-like. Fantastic.
Unbelievable save. Peter Duggan did brilliantly. Brought it down. He is, he's getting very little ball, but he is causing problems in there when he does get the ball. But, he'll be hardly saying to himself, why didn't they just stick it on the ground? He left it at a height, but still an outstanding save. And, that's Clare really needed that to give them any sort of a lifeline coming into half-time.
Disappointment for Peter Duggan. An All-Star back in 2018. 2 All-Ireland medals, 2013 and 24. Well, this man in your picture, Aidan McCarthy, is one from last year. But he is, right now, the only one that's scoring for Clare as he gets his 5th point of the match. For Clare supporters, there's been very little to cheer about and a lot to worry about. 2-11 to 6 points. 4 minutes to go to the break. Clare have only scored 1 point from play. Clare have scored 1 point from play. Cork have scored 2-7. Well, that is a staggering statistic.
That's Tony Kelly from, out sort of as a loose midfielder, got 1 point and haven't helped themselves with some of the shots, but you have to give all the credit to Cork in this first half.
Sideline ball going to be taken by Dara Fitzgibbon.
Mark Coleman has switched in there now to take it. He'd fancy this, I think, with this angle.
Nice shot by our cameraman. Ball drops in and Eibhear Quilligan only saw it at the last minute. He feeds Carl Malone, sends it into the space. Robert Downey trying to stay with Tony Kelly, and Tony Kelly doesn't make too many mistakes like that, I have to say. Just the slither just seemed to get stuck at that particular moment in time. Linesman Michael Kennedy from Tipperary indicating it is a line ball for Cork. David McInerney is incensed. Referee is telling him to let the ball go, give it back to Cork, and he's done that now. A little bit of afters going on between David McInerney and Shane Barrett. Still continuing on. And the referee, if he sees this, will certainly be taking action. Kieran Joyce going to take the sideline cut. Dribbles it along the ground. Tim O'Mahony kicks it forward. Coming across is Ryan Taylor. Nice pick up by Alan Connolly. In front of the River Fergus. And the stand at the far side. Now that is a wonderful piece of point scoring. Nephew of Tom and Jim Cashman. The hurling is in the blood. Now that is just sheer utter class. Ball comes down to Ed McCarthy. Here's David Reedy to his immediate right. Aidan goes into the centre. Tony Kelly calls for it. Robert Downey is staying goal side of him, and Tony Kelly gets his 2nd point of the match from play.
Yeah, great work there by Aidan McCarthy. Tony Kelly, simple finish for him. Great work. But that score by Connolly before that, look at this for a pick-up and the confidence that's in him. He had a brilliant Munster Championship last year, faded a little bit in the All-Ireland series, but back on the team now, and you can see why.
All-Ireland under 20 medalist back in 2020. He is a star now for the future. Meanwhile, Shane Barrett is working himself into a position, and Cork looks so good up front. How are Clare going to stop them? 2-13 to 7 points, 34 minutes played.
Yeah, and the only Cork forward who hasn't scored from play is Patrick Horgan, who's had a hand in nearly everything good about the Cork performance so far.
David Fitzgerald heading past the Cork 65, make that the 45. Hits it on the turn and hits it over the bar. Good play by David Fitzgerald. All-Ireland medalist last year, as we know, but All-Star as well. His second. And Clare need every score just to keep their hopes alive.
Yeah, and he's another example. A brilliant year last year, very rusty. You can see it in a lot of the Clare players. They haven't had a match for a while. He could have won the All-Ireland on his own last year. He had a few wides as well as scoring a few brilliant points.
Breaking ball. Dara Fitzgibbon latching onto it. Referee says that was a pull down, indicating that it's Cian Galvin. Liam Garden explaining that he saw the foul from far out. It wasn't actually Adam Hogan, but it was Cian Galvin that was causing the problem, or gave the free away.
I'm very impressed with Liam Gordon. He knows every player really on the field. He's calling them, was chatting away to them, but that was a clear free.
Patrick Horgan takes the subsequent free, puts that over the bar. Cork 2-14, Clare 8 points. Into injury time. The one man that will be relieved to get him into the dressing room at half-time will be Brian Lohan. They'll have to think it out again. Tony Kelly, David Reedy, between them, they get the slither. Over for Aidan McCarthy. Aidan, outside the 45, hits a very good score.
Yeah, he's playing very well. David Reedy did very well there again. Just Clare have left themselves an awful lot to do. I think they will be a lot sharper in the second half. You know, they'll get up to match pace, but they'll be out of control.
It's interesting to see that David Fitzgerald has gone in on Robert Downey on the 40, and that's a fine effort once again by Shane Barrett, getting his third point of the game. In fact, it was Tim O'Mahony, excuse me, as that was a fine score from outside the Clare 45.
Yeah, he's a huge man, but his athleticism even has improved again this year. Makes it look so easy. He's been huge for Cork in the middle of the field.
Sean O'Donoghue from beautiful Inniscarra. Seamus Harnedy from St. Eaton's. Gets it again. Just Patrick Horgan. John Conlon is in there, battling for Clare. Alan Connolly. It's Conlon that comes away with it. Manages to scramble it back for his Eibert Quilligan. Nice little sidestep. Gets it over for his Dara Lohan, nephew of the manager Brian Lohan from the Wolf Tones Club in Shannon. Nicely picked up by David Reedy. Hefty challenge as David Reedy was running at pace into the Cork defender. Kieran Joyce.
Yeah, I don't think either player could go anywhere. In fairness, Kieran Joyce couldn't back out, and David Reedy had nowhere else to go, so hard collision, but no malicious intent there from either player. You have said David Reedy, maybe Aidan McCarthy, you know, they've really carried the fight up front.
I like the fact that Liam Gordon is saying, and that we're, as I said, we're privileged here, but I want you to know it as well. He's telling that it was the momentum of David Reedy, and he understood it.
Correct, yeah, good call.
To his credit. Aidan McCarthy going to take this. Gives you a great perspective to our camera angle. And that is not going to raise any flag at all. Ball wide. Total of 8 wides, 7 wides for Clare in this opening half. For Brian Lohan, it's time to think it out again. For Cork and Pat Ryan, it's been very impressive. Brian Hayes with 2 goals and a point to his credit in this opening half. But it's the combination, it's the athleticism, it's the skill, it's the handling. It's just beautiful to watch if you're from Cork, or indeed for a hurling fan, because this has been most impressive by the Rebel County, hasn't it, Mike?
It has indeed, Marty, and I think you summed it up there. Everything about their performance, they've been disciplined, everything has been about Cork. So look, I think Clare will improve the second half. They certainly have to.
Half-time here at Cusack Park. It's Clare 9 points, Cork 2 goals and 15.
Championship hurling, the clash of the ash. Helmet and hurley at the ready. Centra, proud sponsors of the hurl.
All over the country, children are hunting eggs today as Cork come to Ennis and they hunt goals. Means that at half-time, Clare are in need of a bit of an Easter miracle on the opening day of the Munster Hurling Championship. It is Cork leading by 12 points at half-time, and it could be even more, 2-15 to 9 points. And it was so obvious what they wanted to do from the very, very start, Anthony.
Absolutely, Joanne. I think I could play okay in this Cork half-back line, because all you have to do is go along, and they've just targeted no Conor Cleary there. Strength and size advantage, pace advantage. 2-on-2, very hard to defend that. We spoke about maybe a plan. Hayes is so strong, so quick. There could have been more goals. We'll touch on that in a minute. But look at Tim O'Mahony here. He just says, had it up there. Again, this 3-on-3. Oh, it's a free in. I think it's given. But they're creating, and it's just long ball. They have the slight wind. They're fighting so hard for each other as well. But their team play around the middle is not allowing Clare get the same ball up, I'd argue. Their work rate and everything like that. Again, Patrick Collins just bang it as hard as you can. Diarmuid Ryan clearly unfit. You just see he's a mile off the pace here, taken off shortly after that. I would argue maybe start Keane Galvin and let him try and get into the game from the get-go. I mean, Cleary and Ryan, huge for Clare in defence. And Cork have sussed that. There's chinks there, but Cork are really good as well, Joanne. I'm really impressed, I have to say.
So that all those incidents we saw there happen in the early stage, so it was only a matter of time, really, wasn't it, until they actually converted those into goals? Yeah, long threatening was going to come at last one. Some of the puck-outs from Patrick Collins have been excellent. Cork have been really successful from the puck-outs. Good ball here, perfect height, well taken, straight away, like Anthony was saying. It's the tactic of letting the ball in. Hayes does well here. I think Lohan maybe would have a yard on it there. Hayes, what he's outstanding at doing, he's brilliant at taking on the man. This was a very tight angle that he finished at. It maybe looks easier. One thing here, looking at all the Clare defenders, watch every one of them. None of them, when Hayes goes on the ball, every one of them that we've underlined there, they're not watching the ball, so they're way off it. They're bound to give an opportunity then for Hayes. Lean tries to make up those yards, but it was a fantastic finish. Again, almost a replica in terms of where the ball came out of. Fantastic touch by Hoggy. Brilliant pace by Connolly. Very, very good take. Takes on Adam Hogan. Not an easy man to take on Hogan in that situation, and gives a very good pass to Hayes for that finish. But watch it from behind. It's the pace and the movement is the key thing here. All the Cork players creating huge space. For some reason,
look to be a massive threat, like.
But what we spoke about before the game, Anthony, were Clare going to try and err on covering off that space. If you do give attackers like this, very impressive from Connolly here, was able to pick up the ball for the second time after being knocked, and a good finish. But it was exactly as we pointed out at the start of the game. If you give attackers like that space, but it's easier said than done, because if Clare come back and if they decide to cover off that, then Cork are after getting away more shots off than them in the middle of the field. That's the trade-off.
Just one quick point on the opening Brian Hayes goal, because I know you thought there might have been a foul in the build-up. The puck out that led to that goal took 2.5 seconds from when the ball went wide. There's nothing in the rule book about how long it takes you, but it does say all players have to be outside the 20-metre line, which it did not look like they were.
I'm not whinging about it, because I think he spoke to both captains beforehand. There's been a lot of talk about it from other counties as well, how fast Cork like to restart. You've got to be ready for it. I think it would have been well flagged at Clare training. This is going to happen, lads. You've got to be ready for it. So
that's it. And Joanne, that's way off in terms of the game. The game is about speed. So if you took that literally, right, that means if I'm an opposing team, I just say you stand inside the 20 metres and we have to wait until you come out to take it. That's not our game at all.
No.
And another part of that rule was that the umpire must supply the ball, and you can clearly see that he does go to the umpire for the ball.
Okay, well, regardless of who is up, or regardless of what way that went, what we do know is that Cork got the goals, and Cork are well on top in this. Big way back now for Clare in this second half here on their home ground in Ennis.
Championship hurling, the clash of the ash. Helmet and hurley at the ready. Centra, proud sponsors of the Hurling Championship.
Over in Salthill, our first provincial semi-final is coming up after the action ends in Ennis. Port Joyce looking to lead Galway to their 10th straight Connacht final. Damien Comer is in the squad. That man there, though, Shane Walsh, he is out. As for their opponents this afternoon, Roscommon haven't reached a Connacht final since 2022. But up front at least, they have the ability to do some damage, especially in that Salthill breeze. Galway against Roscommon at Pearse Stadium is underway at 4 o'clock. And as always, you can see highlights and analysis from across the weekend on the Sunday game at 9:30. And you can see the second half here in Ennis coming up with Cork well on top against the host Clare, 2-15 to 9 points. Anything did you see there that Clare could fix to make it better in the second half?
Well, we've been killed on puck-outs, and you know. But look, we have had a bit of hope, and we can get it up to this man. And that's Peter Duggan. But against the wind, he's had to come deeper. But he see the chance here. But we spoke about the Cork set up earlier on, and they're well set back there. This is the big chance. I mean, we needed to nail this. It's a fantastic piece of skill. Takes it down with his hurley, 2 touches, 1-on-1. Great save by Patrick Collins. I wouldn't take it off him, but that had to be buried down the bottom corner. And that might have given us a bit of hope at half-time. We eventually work a free, but with the win now, I think it probably has to be Rd.1. I think he's gone right into the edge of the square there, John. It is a nice height for a keeper. Credit to goalie with a good save, but Duggan is the threat for us up there. If we can pump a lot of ball up to him, we'll need goals now. That's the only hope back. But it looks like Cork are just superior pace-wise and everything else.
And it doesn't look like Cork have any intention of letting up either.
Yeah, that's going to be the best opportunity for Clare. Cork were outstanding in the middle of the field and around that area as well. Tim O'Mahony was outstanding in every way, hurling-wise, physicality there. Clare loved the idea of being able to, likes of Kelly, Fitzgerald, they're dangerous if they can get onto that break, and you can see it was a tactic of Clare from the puck out for Duggan to drag Owen Downey out and try and get on for that. But every time Cork have been hunting him down, so I can imagine what's been said inside the Cork dressing room. Boys, there's another half here now. For the first 10 minutes, we're not going to get caught like that. Let's keep hunting them down, getting the ball into the boys.
And when you have a lead like that, you're always in the dressing room, whether you're a player, a manager, a leader one of the leaders of the players, you're going to say, no goals, guys. You know, we're 12 points up, no goals. I mean, how are they going to outscore us by 13? So they'd be conscious of that. And I'd say you'd see Robert Downey. Now, he's on a yellow. He'll be sitting that bit deeper, but he can't afford, obviously, to lunge in and take someone down blatantly.
OK, well, you can hear they are very much so up for this. Cork looking so good. What can they do in the second half? Back to Michael and to Marty.
Thank you very much, Joanne, and right on cue, because the music would indicate that Cork are running out onto the pitch, but we haven't seen them yet. But for Tony Kelly and his team, a 12-point deficit is quite a challenge. Out of Cork's 2-15, 2-10 came from play, while Clare's 9 points, only 4 came from play. Clare, as Anthony Daly was saying to Joanne, will really, they find themselves under severe pressure.
Yeah, they are, and we're just chatting there at half-time. Liam Gordon, the referee, having a fine game. We're talking about, we can hear his comments up there, but it's an easy game to ref. There's no aggression. I don't mean dirty play, but that aggression you'd normally associate with Clare, fighting for every ball, getting in around the ball. Now, a lot of that is down to Cork's movement, particularly up front, and backs can't get close enough, but down the other end of the field, they have to keep the ball down there. They have to make Cork work harder, because the minute they get the head up, it's Rd.1. But it's refreshing to see, though, Marty.
Oh, yeah,
now, we've seen all sorts of hurling over the years, but the Cork, their first touch, their skill level, and they're striking at the ball and the movement, and they're trusting their inside forwards to beat their man on man. And I love that, and they are good enough to do that.
Any lover of hurling will love this Cork team, because they're bringing a new dimension of excitement and going for goals. I mean, they've scored 8 goals in a game and a half against Clare, and look what I mentioned before half-time, what they've scored in the last 3 league games, with Brian Hayes today scoring 2 goals. 21,000 is the attendance here today, are very close to it. And I'm thinking of people abroad as well, like Mirren McCloy from Glengormley. Her dad is from Antrim, her mother's from Fermanagh, and they're holidaying in Spain, and Mirren always wears the Clare jersey. So I hope you're enjoying your holiday, Mirren, and I hope you're enjoying the second half as well. Cork are back on the pitch, and the referee is going to throw the ball in. He's just saying that he wants Patrick Collins to go into his goals, and when he's back in position, then away we go for the second half.
We need to see fight from Clare now in the first 15 minutes.
Let's see if we do see that fight from the Bannock County in this second half. Darragh Fitzgibbon, who scored 3 points in the first half, sending it long up towards Brian Hayes and company. And Darragh Fitzgibbon had to slither momentarily. Adam Hogan is there. has to give it back to Everquilligan, who made 2 really good saves in that first half. John Conlon with a testing time in the opening 35 minutes with Dara Fitzgibbon. Going long up towards Peter Duggan. Ball is knocked down towards David Reedy. Good work by Sean O'Donoghue, attacking the ball. The referee gets out of the way, and away goes Kieran Joyce, heading towards the 45. Tony Kelly doing the hard work, chasing after him. Lovely pickup, and then sends it back. It's a good ball up towards Mark Rogers. The ball comes on for David Fitzgerald. Has to try and gather it into the hand, manages to get it back for Mark Rogers. Aidan McCarthy is inside. Here's Mark Rogers bearing down a goal. Here's Aidan McCarthy. Clare have the goal. They're back in business, if only just. Wonderfully worked goal. And the hearts of the people of Clare have skipped a beat right now, because it looked forlorn, but there is now a chance that Clare will put it up to the league champions in the second half. Mark Rogers, Aidan McCarthy got the touch. Patrick Collins had no chance whatsoever.
Yeah, it was a great finish there. Look, watch the ball over. McCarthy never took his eye off it. But the build-up, that was created by the tracking of Ryan Taylor. He tracked the run of Kieran Joyce, tipped it off his hurley. Tony Kelly picked it up. The room was inside. Mark Rogers did really, really well. And there's a lot of chat there from the ref, sorry, but a super team goal there from Clare. That work rate, that fight we talked about, was evident there, and brilliant finishing. Brings a bit of life into Cusack Park.
Patrick Collins, puck out first, Tim O'Mahony, with just the one hand, sends it along the ground. Good to see a bit of ground hurling in this match. We don't see it that often anymore. On the ground is the mighty John Conlon, trying to come out with it himself and Shane Barrett have a little bit of an altercation. Conlon's gander is up. There's passion in Clonlara, and he certainly wants a far better second half than he even had himself, but he's trying to inspire his teammates and colleagues here. John Conlon will be 36 in June, showing a wealth of experience.
He was indeed, because I think he picked the ball off the ground first, and then I think he pulled Shane Barrett onto the ground, so I think there was 2 fouls there, and he managed to win the free, so that's the cute old fox that John Conlon is.
Tony Kelly taking this inside his own 65-metre line, going for the score. The crowd at the town end, which are mainly Clare supporters, liked it on its way. They tracked it, they saw it, and Tony Kelly gets his 3rd point of the game. It's a different scoreline. It looks a little bit better from a Clare perspective. 2-15 Cork, 1-10 Clare. Is it possible to chase, pursue, and maybe catch up to the league champions? I wonder. Sideline ball. Brian Hayes went out over the line. Brian Hayes didn't like it. Darragh Lohan is getting involved. Referee blows his whistle.
Yeah, he's arguing with us, and we can't tell from here. You know, watch the replay. Oh, it looks very marginal. Brian Hayes is adamant it wasn't.
Yeah, it was only centimetres, if it was.
But the linesman is right there, you know, and looking at that replay, it looked like it was.
There's an entanglement off the ball between Adam Hogan and Alan Connolly. They continue that with shoving and pushing, shoulder to shoulder, as you can see. Meanwhile, the sideline ball is cut in. Oh, beautiful by Mark Rogers. Scariff is not a region known for footballers, but they must have something over there. And it's Mark Rogers that are on it again, scooping it away. They're looking for goals, trying to get a chance. Peter Duggan sends in a shot, brilliantly blocked down by the Cork defence. That's going to be tested this afternoon. Gone back is Kieran Joyce, laying it back first Patrick Collins, little sideways. Lovely sidestep by Collins from Ballinhassig, laying it out first Mark Coleman. Good work. And away come Cork now. Great start by the banner. Seamus Harnedy will try and stop that momentum, sending in a shot, but the ball is to the right and wide. Quick puck out from Everquilligan to David McInerney. What a season he had last year, up into the clouds. Ball breaks, there's a lot of pushing and shoving, and the referee gives the free to Cork. But for a moment, the slipper was there, and they were all shoving, they were all fouling.
Yeah, you just watch Mark Rogers here trying to get away from his man. He's arguing he's been pulled off the ball there. I think he was. Hard for the ref in a big tangle like that, but that could have been a free in. Just little things going against Cork now in the second half. That line ball, the wide there from Harnedy, just giving Clare that little bit of hope. But you know, there's still 8 points in it. You expect Cork now to get a score or two to settle them.
Referee Liam Gordon telling Conor Lean and Patrick Horgan that he's aware of what's going on around the end line. The ball is dropping in. They're both going for the ball. Hoggy gets a touch. Eibheart Quilligan gathers it, sends it out for Tony Kelly on his own 20-metre line. He's looking at the options. He's going to drop it long. It is the long ball that's going to possibly work. Peter Duggan knocks it down for David Reedy. David Reedy! And the All-Ireland champions get their second goal. The game is not over after all. The people of Clare are now enjoying the moment. After a torrid opening 35 minutes, they are now unequivocally back in the game.
Yeah, a brilliant knockdown by Duggan. He's caused havoc, but look at Reedy where he came from. In over the top, brilliant finish. I said it before the game, I said it during the first half. It would take Clare a while to settle in. They haven't played for a month to get up to the pace of the game, but it's small things, Marty, in the second half. They're more aggressive. They're closer to their men. They're not giving them. You can see it off the ball. There's incidents around the field, and they're bringing much more aggression to the play.
Referee Liam Gordon is blowing his whistle furiously, and he wants to have a word with Seamus Harnedy. There is a player injured down at the other end. That happens to be a Clare man. Referee Liam Gordon has now tried to dilute the passion that has now been aroused by Clare's second half performance. He knows who he wants to talk to. He's telling them all to stop talking. He's talking to the two number 10s, Tony Kelly and Seamus Harnedy. Now, what is the referee going to do here? A yellow card for Tony Kelly, yellow card for Seamus Harnedy. And he's saying, basically, that if he hears any more chat from Tony Kelly, that he's gone.
Yeah, well, you know, this is the thing we would have talked about. There's certain players referee games. We all had them on our teams over the years, and it's part of it. Adam Hogan is down. There's a bit more going on now inside. There's plenty of aggro now here.
Darragh Lohan and Patrick Horgan are, as you can see, pulling each other's jerseys. And this is down at the goalpost end. The referee, Liam Gordon, is now going to try and deal with this. Passions have been aroused.
There's a huge stoppage here now as well, and the momentum was all with Clare. Like there was only 5 minutes gone in the second half. I think we were about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes dealing with this now. He's gone into the umpires now for a chat. Probably be another couple of yellows here, I'd imagine.
His umpires, John Larkin and Ollie Riley, down at that end. Damien Gibbons and Alan McKernan, they're all from Clymer in County Galway, same club as the referee. So deep consultation with John and Ollie.
Well, Adam Hogan and Alan Connolly have been fighting off the ball since the start of the game, pulling and dragging. Hogan is that type of corner back. He's very aggressive, but he's on the ground for quite some time now.
So, what's the referee going to do now, having consultation with his team of officials? Alan Connolly is being spoken to. Telling Hoggy to get away. Let's have a look at this.
Yeah, we can't see that with his back turned, but it looks like he got a
Referee Liam Gordon, no doubt he's going to show a card here. He's also,
I hate this, I have to say, I hate this, given the 2 yellow cards. You're like, if Adam Hogan deserved a yellow card for something else, but in that instant he just gave a little push in the back. It looked like Connolly gave him. It's maybe more for the overall what's going on between the two of them. But we don't know what the rationale behind that was.
Jem Mellerick has come on for Cork, and it looks like Robert Downey is the player that's after making way.
You can see the knee heavily strapped there, Downey coming off. Right, well that's about 5 minutes, and we're going to see it at the end of the game.
Now, can Clare find that momentum again after all of that? Ball is dropping down. Brian Hayes underneath it. John Conlon is now down on his knees with a couple of other players trying to gather that ball out. Gone back is Colin Malone. First touch is important. Takes the hit. Comes away with it. Sends it down the wing into nobody's particularly patch. Cork have to go back. Good work here by Kieran Joyce. Being pursued by David Reedy. Sends it along the ground to Ethan Toomey. Toomey trying to get away from the hard-working Ryan Taylor. Dropping it in again around the house. Adam Hogan trying to get ahead of Alan Connolly. Patrick Horgan. Connolly has gone inside. Still Patrick Horgan. It took a while, but eventually Patrick Horgan got his free. And he richly deserved it here. And the referee is saying the first tackle was perfect and the second one was a pull down, so he was given the free.
Yeah, 2-1 to no score since half-time, so Cork are going to be very thankful it is free. You know, small things we're watching. We don't be picking every little thing. Ethan Toomey took a lot of steps there. Ryan Taylor stood him up really well, because that's what he can do with that pace he has. And the ball ends up in a free in for Cork.
10 minutes into the second half, Patrick Horgan has a chance to get Cork's first score. After a blitz from Clare, scoring 2 goals and a point. Patrick Horgan blasts that over the crossbar for his 6th point of the game. Now, let's see what happens. 2-16 for Cork, 2-10 for Clare. It really is the battle of the champions. Up goes Peter Duggan. Fabulous catch. He lands on terra firma and he sends it wide. Huge disappointment. He did all. The hard work was done just to finish. Look at this. Magnificent.
He's unbelievable in the air. Aidan McCarthy just went off his shoulder. I know he probably said I'll stick one over myself, because you know he hasn't got a score yet, but he should have laid that off, or definitely put it over.
Ball is dropping down. John Conlon gets a touch, sends that out over the sideline.
And just watching the 2 Clare midfielders, they're coming really deep towards their own half-back line for the puckouts, leaving all the room up front, and Quilligan is going long. So I'm surprised that maybe Cork aren't dropping somebody back to you know, look out for that breaking ball from Duggan. He's either catching or breaking every single ball.
Dara Fitzgibbon placing it nicely a moment ago, but it's Mark Coleman that's going to take it. Gets a little bit of a divot. He really is well capable of hitting this between the posts. Dropping it in around the house. Runs on. Danger here from a Clare perspective. Sean Conlon is in there. Darrell Lohan flicks it over the shoulder, and what a score, what a score. Alan Connolly. It's a little piece of magic here. Just watch the wrists, watch the stick work. With one hand over the crossbar. Fabulous.
Yeah, well, year on year, Marty, I keep saying it, the skill level of these players. They can talk about SHC, physique, everything else. Players across the country. The improvisation, and that's another brilliant piece of skill. Seamus Harnedy, you know, hasn't played much during the league. Now, Declan Dalton, I think, will bring a big amount of mobility and flex and power into that half-forward line.
Breaking ball. Ger Mellerick had a stormer of a game here against Clare in the league when he was playing corner back. Laying it off to Shane Barrett. Away goes Ethan Toomey. Over to Patrick Horgan. Horgan sends this straight between the posts for his 7th point of the game. Cork have responded magnificently to what Clare set out to do at the start of the second half with 2 goals and a point. They have certainly taken the wind out of the Banner County sails.
Yeah, that was the typical of them. Tim O'Mahony to Shane Barrett to Ethan Toomey, and then he gives it to Hoggy. That's every Cork forward now scored from play. Hoggy hadn't scored from play up to now, but he's having a great game inside, and that's Cork back to what they did brilliantly in the first half, and maybe they'll weather the storm now.
Long puck out from Eibert Quilligan. David Fitzgerald is underneath it. Gathers it 2nd time round. Hits away towards the town goals. Trying to flick it in. Farzane McCarthy. Nobody around. Plenty of Cork defenders. Good work. David Fitzgerald. Nice ball inside towards Tony Kelly. On the 20-metre line. Heading in towards goal. What's he going to do? Tried to great block down by Sean O'Donoghue. Brilliant defending by the Ennis Caraman. The referee has blown his whistle. It was a chop down, and he's given a free to Clare.
Yeah, great block here by Sean O'Donoghue, as you say. Just watch here now. I think it's Ger Mellerick comes in here just over the top.
Great defending by Sean O'Donoghue.
See the eyes in the ball all the way. We're tapping this over, I think, at this stage of the game. Maybe later on, he'll be going for it.
Absolutely. That's a goal and 7 points Aidan McCarthy has scored here. for Brian Lohan. His team have shown a lot of character at the start of the second half. And there is still, thankfully, may I add, 20 minutes to go in this pulsating multi-championship match. David Fitzgerald, Darragh Fitzgibbon, knocking it down towards Tim O'Mahony. Last touch was a Clare man. That's going to be a line ball for Cork. David Fitzgerald pushing Pat Ryan. And Liam Gordon, the referee, telling Pat Ryan, just drop the ball and get on with the game. And that's what they're doing. There's Tim O'Mahony. Newtown Chandram going to take this. Batted away. On this occasion by Keane Galvin. Sent in by Declan Dalton. Patrick Horgan, Conor Lean, staying goal side. Surely Patrick Horgan is being fouled. Free in for the Glen Rovers man.
I just wonder about the steps here again. The hurl definitely pulled out of his hand then. I love the way he loops around, you know. That, yeah, here's David Fitzgerald, puts the hands on Pat Ryan. You can't do that, but Pat Ryan keeps the cool. You know, in fairness, he just picked up the ball. It was a Cork line ball. He was, you know, no need for that. But again, Hayes broke that down. The way Hoggy sweeps around, he's always on the loop around. He's, you know, he's only scored one from play, but to me, he's been the fulcrum of the attack. Everything is going through him. He's been fouled for quite a few frees.
8th point of the game for Patrick Horgan. Eibhear Quilligan going law, aiming for David Fitzgerald or Peter Duggan. Between them, they have it. Peter Duggan, one-handed, tries to get the slipper to the hurley from the boss of the hurley. And if Alan Connolly can do it at one end, Peter Duggan can do it at the other. It's his first point in the match, but my gosh, did he have to work hard for it. Surrounded by 3 Cork players, one-handed, somehow got the slither between the posts.
Yeah, that's a brilliant score. The power that takes, as well as the skill level, immense. We've seen Duggan getting some once-in-a-lifetime scores in the past.
Sean O'Donoghue going long towards Brian Hayes. Backfire Shane Barrett. Stopped, fouled, surely. David McInerney fouling Shane Barrett, who gets a tap in the head. Remember, David McInerney is on a yellow card now, so you'd want to be very careful here.
Yeah, definitely a foul. But again, it's the pace. Barrett trusting himself to take on his man. You know, you'd be saying to the young lads, take on your man, but it's all right if you don't have the pace. But he has trusted himself and drew the free. I say you're right. Maybe one more foul. David McInerney is going to come under the radar. He's been very, very careful.
Once again, it's Hoggy that's taken the free. And once again, the white flag will actually not be raised. It's white. No.
Not like him. He's missed a couple.
2:19 to 2:12. It remains a 7-point gap. Eibhear Quilligan aiming for Peter Duggan. Gets a touch, knocks it down. Tony Kelly. Ger Mellerick, beautiful little rob. Just knocking the slither away from Kelly. Good job, Ger Mellerick. Ball comes down towards Brian Hayes again, trying to flick it back for Darragh Fitzgibbon. David McInerney trying to scoop it up. In comes big Tim O'Mahony. Good work. Patrick Horgan saw the challenge coming. Good defending as he put up the hurley. Fair and square. Back for Shane Barrett. Shane Barrett scooping it back. I don't know how he did that, because he must have eyes in the back of his head to be able to do that. And that is over the bar. Blarney and Glen Rovers, Barrett and Horgan. Between them, they get a peach of a point.
Yeah, but here's Ger Mellerick, what a block there. Tony Kelly hadn't even the ball, just thrown up, and he just tracked them all the way, and there's a great score from the middle of the field.
Brian Roach is coming on for Cork, and it looks like Ethan Toomey is the player that's making way.
Yeah, Darragh Fitzgibbon gone to the middle of the field, Brian Roach gone in, centre forward on John Connolly.
8 points between the teams. Long puck out from Eibhear Quilligan. Again is aiming for Peter Duggan. Darragh Fitzgibbon anticipated what was happening and got into a good position. Oh, lovely pick up by Shane Barrett. Nice combination, Brian Roach and Darragh Fitzgibbon. Back to Roach again. Brilliant play, Cork. It just needs to finish. Now that is a score and a half. Brilliant play. And Brian Roach combining with Darragh Fitzgibbon, who actually anticipated where the puck out was going, read the situation well. And there is an off-the-ball incident now, and Shane Barrett being pushed away by David McInerney for the challenge that was surely spotted by the linesman Michael Kennedy from Tipperary.
Yeah, I was just still looking at the replay of the score, and as you say, what a score in tight spaces, we are from the sideline. The skill level of Barrett, of Fitzgibbon and Roach, brilliant. There's been a bit of niggle with Barrett and McInerney. I don't know what happened. Have a look at it here.
Let's have a look at it here.
Yeah, he's going to be in bother here. That's
yeah, it looks like he could be in bother, yeah. And David Reedy. Now, it's the colour of the card that will actually decide this. It is a straight red for Shane Barrett. Cork are down to 14 plays with 14 minutes to go. Adam Hogan taking on the challenge. Laying it back for David Reedy. He lets fly. Slipper dropping from the grey skies, dropping into Patrick Collins, waiting for it. Good hands by the keeper. Out fires Darragh Fitzgibbon. Heading past his own 45 now. Going for distance again up towards Brian Hayes. Gone back is John Conlon. Might need Eva Quilligan. Being held. Free out for John Conlon. Free out for Clare.
Yeah, just look. Shane Barrett there, he's going to regret that. It was only it was a dig of the handle of the hurl. He was being fouled quite a bit throughout the game. He's getting a lot of attention off the ball. Frustrated, obviously. And
let's have a look at this again. This was spotted by the linesman, obviously, as well.
Gave him just a jab at the heel of the hurl, and it went in through the face guard. You see, it got caught up in the face guard. That's it.
With more of this going on now. Down at the town it goes. Temper is becoming frayed, and the referee is blowing his whistle furiously.
This is all a bit silly. There was none of this in the first half. There's an awful lot of off-the-ball stuff going on now. That was Ian Galvin just came in as a sub.
Let's have a look here what happened as Ian Galvin went in. Really silly stuff, initially at least. And then it got a little bit more aggressive, and others got involved. Damien Gibbons and Alan McKernan, the two umpires, informing the referee exactly what happened. So, again, Liam Gordon will know exactly who he wants to speak to.
Yeah, we talk about the officials working together. It's been very, very interesting, Marty, been here today with the ref cam on. You know, the two umpires there, very good. 24 and 3 instigated. A couple of other players got involved.
Referee Liam Gordon telling Ian Galvin that he was acting the maggot and that Owen Downey didn't help the situation by getting involved. That kind of summed it up perfectly, didn't it?
It's silly stuff. It's kind of ruining the game now. There's been a lot of time wasted with
official attendance has just been given to me. It was 20,778 here in Cusack Park, as Cork going to introduce Shane Kingston. There is a depth of talent on the Cork bench, which is quite impressive. Now, when you think of Declan Dalton, Shane Kingston, Robbie O'Flynn, Jim Healy is a star in the making, which I'm sure you'll see in the championship. And it looks like Patrick Horgan is the player that's gone off. And just for the record, he scored 9 points in this match. Now, 2:21 to 2:12. 10 minutes to go. And still one senses that the match is still in the melting pot. Although Cork superior as Clare chase it. Well won back by Mark Rogers. Peter Duggan is to his right. Still Mark Rogers. He cuts into the centre. Lays the ball off. Advantage being given. Chance being given to Ian Galvin, and he has sent it wide, but the referee will blow the whistle, and he's given a free into Clare. He had the hand up all the time, clearly indicating that Mark Rogers had been fouled previously. There you go.
Owen Downey on the yellow just a minute ago. Pulls the man back going through, you know.
Mark Rogers going to take this just to the left of the goalpost. Simple tap over for him. Puts his name on the scoreboard for the first time.
Clare's extra man, you know, after taking some of the pressure off at the back, they have a bit of cover there now, and that's helping them. And they're just going route one every time they get the ball. They're aiming it in at Peter Duggan and hoping for him ready to catch it or break it.
Niall O'Leary going long. Batted away by Adam Hogan. Picked up by Cathal Malone. Good hands. Conor Lean has the vision to spot and find Ryan Taylor. About to be challenged. Hand pass. Easily dispossessed. Jeremy Mellerick does the hard work. Long ball up to Brian Hayes. He's already scored 2 goals. He's now got 2 goals and 2 points. And that all came from a breakdown when Clare had the possession.
Yeah, they had great work there by Jeremy Mellerick again. Lovely ball into Hayes, even though the extra man was there. Just he's playing unbelievable hurling. Beat his man and tapped it over.
Scooping into a beautiful play, Sean O'Donoghue. If you want to play cornerback, look at Sean O'Donoghue. Class. From way out the field, Eibhear Quilligan knocks it down. That would have been the real dessert on that one, I can tell you. And Eibhear Quilligan goes long again. Peter Duggan. Galvin, front of the post. Looks, shoots, scores. Every point now is crucial. Peter Duggan is running into helmet problems, just telling the referee he just needed a moment. It's back to an 8-point game as Diarmuid Healy from the school is coming on for a championship debut. In his league debut, he scored a goal and 5 points against Kilkenny below in Park Ecrive. I was there that evening. I thought he was sensational.
No, he's had a great league. I'm just looking at the clock here. There's 8 minutes, 7 minutes on the clock, but how much injury time is going to be played?
That's quite true. Adam Hogan. John Conlon. Good ball. Cathal Malone. Into the D. Happy to take a point for his first point of the match. From 6 Mile Bridge, Cathal Malone gets a vital score. Diarmuid Healy coming on for Cork, and the player that's going off is Alan Connolly.
Yeah, and we talked about how well Cork played in the first half up front. Seamus Harney's been replaced. Darragh Fitzgibbon has gone to the middle of the field. Shane Barrett's been sent off. Patrick Horgan has taken off. Alan Connolly has taken off. They've only one forward that started in the same position as Brian Hayes. Unbelievable turnaround up front from half-time.
.5 minutes played. 23 points to 28. 21 points to 28. Diarmuid Healy was being fouled going through. There's an opportunity for Cork, and that is well wide off the stick of Brian Roach.
That's Ryan Taylor again. I don't know how many times he's done that. His covering is unbelievable. His pace. He just got a little tiny touch on that.
Darragh Lohan sending it to Mark Rogers. Just bounced off his fingertips. Ball up for Brian Hayes. Ball in hand. Means trouble with a capital T for Clare. But Brian Hayes sends that wide as well. Puck out, quick one, fires John Conlon. Goes down the middle route towards Tony Kelly. Tim O'Mahony is there. Kelly comes in to challenge. Backfires Dara Fitzgibbon, flicking it on. David Fitzgerald challenging Niall O'Leary. Tim O'Mahony goes for distance, goes for the score. And Eibhear Crulligan can only get the boss of the hurley to it, and it just popped over the crossbar onto the top of the net for his second point of the game. Great score, Tim O'Mahony.
I don't know why Clare have gone away from the long ball inside. It was working so well.
We're aiming for Ian Galvin. He's fouled, free in for Clare.
He's made a big impact since he's come on. Apart from the yellow card straight away, he's shown for everything. Just interesting to watch Cork, even with the 14. They've dropped Dara Fitzgibbon right back in front of the 2 in the full back line. So they're basically saying, we have a big enough lead here if we don't concede any more goals, and hopefully pick up off an odd point. If Clare keep working this ball, they're still not fully out of this game.
Mark Rogers going to score his second point if he can, but he sends it wide. Another crucial moment.
Can't afford that.
No, that's what I was just going to say. Not when you're down by 8 points with the clock ticking towards the 67th minute. Patrick Collins going short.
Throw it up and caught it.
Referee. Yes, he has spotted the foul and the infringement by the fullback Owen Downey.
Again, Michael Kennedy. Great communication with his ref. In fairness, that Liam Gordon was gone up the field. He didn't see it, but Michael Kennedy saw it. He clearly threw it up and caught it.
It should be said that the team of officials in a pulsating match like this, they've all done very well.
Yeah, it's been good, and it's been interesting, as I said, to listen to the interaction.
That gives you an idea of the angle for Mark Rogers. This time there's no mistake. He puts that over the bar. Aaron Shanahan makes his traditional appearance here, and he will add a bit of physical strength up front, as Mark Rogers is the player that's taken off.
Shanahan, another huge man, so it's definitely going to be Route 1 now with the 2 lads inside.
Patrick Collins this time goes long. Shane Kingston had it momentarily. Conor Lee. There's Ryan Taylor. Ball is available. Referee says play on. No foul. Nicely picked up by Ger Mellerick. No foul, says referee. Ball is loose. They're trying to dig it out. Away comes Tony Kelly. Over first David Reedy. Scooping it high. He's aiming for the big man, 6'7". Peter Duggan, and he found him. Duggan bearing down, trying to get away. Now takes a shot, and he'll take the back of the net. Duggan, all 6'7", 31 years of age, scores a cracking goal that gives everybody in Cusack Park from the county of Clare renewed hope again.
And Marty, look at that, the way he switched hands again under that high ball. The skill level of that. To switch hands, switch the back, finish it to the net. That's an incredible goal. And we're back to 4 points unbelievably from where we were. What
some game we're having here in Cusack Park. It looked almost over. 12 points up Cork after a scintillating first half. But this team, Lohan's team, have shown incredible character in this second half. And they're still in the match. And as Michael Dignan pointed out a moment ago, because of the injuries, there will be substantial time added on.
I think there could be anything up to 10 minutes here, because there was a couple of huge stoppages, and there was all the substitutions, which are 30 seconds each. There'll definitely be 7 or 8, in my view.
29 to 25, 3:16 to 2:23. Tony Kelly, he's going for the point. He wants to raise the white flag, and he's done it. Hurler of the Year, Young Hurler of the Year, back in 2013, 12 years ago. And he still has the magic at 31 years of age.
You can see why Clare won the All-Ireland last year. You know, they could have thrown in the towel at half-time. Cork didn't help themselves after half-time, but Clare have really upped the work rate. And the sending off, of course, didn't help Cork either.
3 points between the teams. A remarkable comeback. Can Clare maintain it? Can Cork withstand the challenge? Stalemate, a few metres in from the sideline, trying to scoop it out. as the referee, Liam Gordon, has blown his whistle, and he's going to give a throw ball here, I'm sure.
6 minutes. I question that, I have to say. I think it's way more than that. There's 30 seconds for every substitution. We've had a couple of very long stoppages. I think some statsman put a clock on that second half. It's way more than that.
Away comes Brian Roach, stopped in his tracks by Conor Lean. David McInerney is there.
Have to get the players back from this. They're supposed to have 14 or 16 in there.
Adam Hogan and Tim O'Mahony getting involved unnecessarily.
Tim O'Mahony's on the yellow card.
And now Liam Gordon spotted that. And Tim O'Mahony's already on a yellow card. By the way, so too is Adam Hogan.
Tim O'Mahony threw him on the ground. Adam Hogan was niggling.
Throws the ball in. Runs on to John Conn. Sending it into the space. First touch, Aaron Shanahan. Getting away, Aaron Shanahan. Surely fouls Aaron Shanahan. Whistle blown. Free for Clare. Dead straight and well, almost dead straight in front of the post, just to the right of the post. David Reedy going to take the free taking now, having already scored a goal in the second half. Takes his first free of the afternoon.
4 different free takers from Clare. We had McCarthy, Rogers, Kelly, and now David Reedy taps that one over.
There is something magical about the Munster Championship. Breaking ball, picked up by David Fitzgerald. Trying to hand pass it away, throw ball. Throw ball, free for Cork.
Big call, 72nd minute, first throw ball of the game. I doubt it was, but that was an obvious one right in front of the referee.
Just in terms of stats for the second half, Clare have scored 3 goals and 9 points to Cork's 8 points. Indicates and reflects the comeback by the All-Ireland champions.
McCarthy missed 2 here.
He's hit it to the right of the post. Ball is wide. Possession now, absolutely crucial for both counties. Ian Galvin, lovely stick work. Sean O'Donoghue, Galvin. They love it. They love it at the far side. Now you see why Clare won the All-Ireland last year.
Absolutely, Marty, but what an impact Ian Galvin has had. We were looking at the benches before the game. We talked about Cork's impact off the bench, but Galvin has been sensational. Shanahan's won a free as well. Duggan is driving them on. This is some second half by Clare. What a Munster Championship match.
1 point between the teams. We've described it as the repeat of the All-Ireland final, the battle of the champions. 12 points up, Cork at half-time. And now, sensationally, after 73.5 minutes, there's only 1 point between the sides. Remember, Cork are playing with 14 players after Shane Barrett was sent off for a straight red. Quick combination as Tony Kelly goes off. He's going to go for it. It's flying through the air. It's dropping over the crossbar. Clare are level. 12 points down at the break. Lohan's army has responded to the biggest challenge.
And I thought Marty would have a big second half, and I said it before the game, that improve as the game went on. Did I think it'd be this? No. And Tony Kelly, what a score. He's done it so many times on the big day. What a take by Mark Coleman.
They've only been level once in the match, and you've just seen it. David McInerney, David Fitzgerald, going for distance. Big Peter is at the edge of the square, trying to get a touch. Ball is wide.
Terrible wide by David Fitzgerald there. You know, he should have just played that in front, or winning plenty of ball in there. Cork have had to push up again.
1.5 minutes to go. My phone is hopping with texts telling the referee to blow it up, but there is 1.5 minutes to go. An intriguing, pulsating second half. And away come Clare. They now have the momentum. David Fitzgerald goes by the first challenge, gets by the second, scoops it forward for Ian Galvin, who's been brilliant since being introduced. He's looking around to see who he can give it to. Back to David McInerney. McInerney from Tulla. He hits it. He drops it in. He drops it just to the right of the post and wide. Amazing.
They have Shanahan and Duggan in there. They need to keep the ball in play, Clare. They're dominating the game. There'll be one more play. Maybe a draw will be the right result.
Patrick Collins goes for distance again. Every slither now, every possession is crucial. Conor Lee tries to go down on the ball, scoops it up fairly and squarely, comes tearing out, and he is fouled. Listen to the banner roar. This is Munster Championship and what it means to both Clare and Cork.
It's off the ball here.
Eibhear Quilligan receives the pass. Is there one more score left in Cusack Park? What a catch. Surely that's a foul. Aaron Shanahan. Is he the hero? They can't contain themselves in Cusack Park. Look at that. The picture tells the story. It's only the opening round of the Munster Championship.
Why would you be tucking the ball wide from out the field when you have Shanahan and Duggan in there? What a take this hour of the game. This is one of the great comebacks. You know, Cork just, I think, fell apart in the second half for some reason. I mentioned their forward line. They took off their forwards, or Shane Barrett sent off. That'll be a huge bearing on the game. That'll be talked about tonight. Very hard to tell what we saw. Just a flick of the handle in a hurl, it looked like, into the face guard.
David Reedy, dead straight in front of the post. He's from the town of Ennis. He's heading towards the town of Ennis. He lifts, strikes, and Clare are in front. They'll be dancing the Clare set tonight in Tulla and Fecal, and they haven't won a cup. But what a comeback. How much is left? We're gone past the 76th minute. Can Cork get an equaliser? David McInerney, Clare look inspired. They give it, the ball is given away. Shane Kingston, is it Kieran Joyce that's going to do it? Surely he's fouled. It's a free in for Cork. Wonderful atmosphere. 20,778 people. There's nobody taking an early bus or going away early. And there's nobody leaving the sitting room or kitchens around the world right now.
And that's clearly a foul there. A brilliant catch there by David McInerney, then lost possession. I talked about the injury time. It's gone to 78 minutes now. I don't know where the ref found the extra minute after the 76. Clare will argue that, but I think a draw, maybe at the end of it all, Marty, might be just the fairest result on the day. It was a complete game of two halves.
Jacob Dalton sending that between the posts and over the bar. The sides are level again, only for the second time. How much more is the referee going to put us through? The answer is no more time. What a game. What an atmosphere. 12 points up at half-time. The newly crowned league champions look to be in control, heading to their first victory. But a game that we will be talking about for a long time. Brian Lohan and Pat Ryan congratulate each other, or commiserate with each other. I think it should be congratulations. A standing ovation from everybody around Cusack Park. There's nobody leaving. They're just intrigued by one of the great games. Yet again, the Munster Championship produces a scintillating, exciting game. All-Ireland champions down by 12 come back to draw the game, go in front, and Cork, the league champions, come back to level the match only for the second time. You couldn't beat the script. Steven Spielberg would want to make a movie out of the Munster Championship.
Oh, that's it, Marty. What a game! And you know, you couldn't see it at half time, but you know, I did say Clare would be rusty. I knew there would be, and there's a strong breeze out there. It suited them in the second half. They went long, but it was old school hurling. Cork in the first half created all that space for the full forward line. Clare did in the second half. Brilliant game. You know, it's the first round, as you say. What a year we have to look forward to.
Absolutely. Wonderful day. The Munster Championship has started. This is the championship. And the birds are singing, and the ice creams will be certainly eaten in Ennis this evening. Look at this for scoreline. Full-time score in Ennis. Clare, 3 goals, 21 points. Cork, 2 goals and 24.
After listening to that, no more sugar for you or ice cream for Marty Morrissey after that. A big thank you. Well, look at this. Does that picture tell you an awful lot there? It's just as well, this is the clean version of what we were able to show, Anthony Daly.
No, but that was when it was poor Declan Dalton took the free now for the draw. I wasn't doing that to him when Clare went to point up. And I said it to him about 10 minutes earlier, would you take a draw? Will you go away? He said...
That wasn't what I said. To tell the truth, what I did say to him. Or maybe don't tell the truth.
Please don't.
What a game, what drama. How can you summarise that sort of madness? Geez, they put the ticket prices up 40% down the last 2 years. You know what? They should go up another 40%.
No.
Good value.
Fantastic stuff. Like, I mean, I wrote down here, taking a few notes, when Brian Roach got the pint after Hoggy's pint, game over, Joanne. Because I just thought, you know, they'd weathered the Clare storm, but Clare under Brian Lohan don't know when to throw in the towel. That's the bottom line.
How much should Cork contribute to that, Donal Lowe?
I tell you, like, it was sort of the game, the second half started the way the first half was for Cork. That long ball we spoke about before the game, that Peter Duggan, you know, that capability, Anthony pointed it out at half time again, and it looked as if it was almost going to be a replicate, except from different sides. Then the downtime came, and you'd say, hold on, this suits Cork now. What's after happening? It's after taking the life out of Clare. Hoggy wins a free, puts it over, then Connolly gets a great point, Hoggy gets another one, and you think things are away. But then the sending off, it was Cork have paid a big price for that.
What a finish it was, though, because they did look dead and buried, and then back came. You had a piece picked out called Killer Scores, and then out come Clare with this.
Well, like, I mean, we spoke about Rd.1 in the first half, and this man was just unstoppable. And he made the move in the league game, you know. He made the move in the league game and whipped off on Downey and brought in Callahan. Maybe he'll regret that this evening. What a contribution Ian Galvin made off the bench. We did touch on it beforehand, that him being back fit was crucial for Clare, but then the cleverness. I thought Cathal Malone was outstanding all day, but when the greats are needed, TK again, and a massive second half from him. And I thought Cork panicked a small bit on the line. They took off 5 of their forwards. Brian Hayes was outstanding. They had to leave him there, but you know, Shanahan, Twin Towers at that stage, let it up. The time was up, Joanne, so we all thought, oh, he's entitled to play on. And Michael did make the point that there was more than 6 minutes, but again here, Davy Mack with a great catch. Nowhere really to go, popped it out, Kingston wins it, got it out to Joyce, who drew the free. I don't know, was it John Conlon or Adam Hogan, but Declan Dalton wasn't going to do anything overly spectacular there. And I think, look, but the boys are saying, you're on a Cork are out of Ennis with something, but what a fight from the Clare boys.
What a fight, what a performance in the second half, because remember, Cork so on top in the opening half. The two lads kept going back and forth between a Clare man and a Cork man for man of the match. Let's find out who got in the end with Damien.
Thanks very much, Joanne. Brian Hayes is the man of the match, Centra man of the match, and Barry Lynch from Centra is here to present the award. Thank you very much, Barry. Brian, congratulations on the award. I suppose it's a tough one to take after being maybe so commanding in that first half.
Yeah, I suppose we're initially disappointed there to leave Clare back into the game. You know, obviously going down to 14 men didn't help, but yeah, look, it's still a point. We're away from home, and we'll build on it next week now. Yeah,
it's probably a harsh lesson to learn, but it's I suppose at this stage of the season where every point is crucial, and they got a foothold. I suppose a man extra as well, and from there they got serious momentum as well, Brian.
Yeah, look, there's nothing between the teams for 5 teams in Munster anyway. Like every single team can get out of Munster, and you know, when you go down a man, you're going to be found out. And I think the gap was 9 or 10 when we went a man down, and you know, you saw what happened there. So.
From your perspective on the field, was there any, apart from losing a man, was there any difference maybe in the game, in the way maybe it flipped? The wind was a factor in the first half. The long ball was working well for you, but it worked well for them too in the second half.
Yeah, I suppose there's a wind, there's a breeze, and that's always going to be a 3 or 4 point wind. I thought we're still sticking to our game plan, everything we wanted to do, but I suppose we'll have to watch it back and see. Initially, it's hard to comment on it, to be honest.
Quick turnaround anyway. So look, well done for today, Centre Man of the match. Thank you very much for your time, Brian.
Cheers, thanks, Billy. Thank you.
Yeah, well done to Brian Hayes, and massive performance as well from Peter Duggan. The fulcrum is what you called him in the second half, leading that Clare comeback.
Yeah, I mean, Brian, you know, 10 minutes out, yourself definitely saying it's Brian, then you're saying is it Dougie or Brian? So I thought Dougie really drove us back into it. He's been a great servant for Clare hurling, you know, would have come in on the tail end of 13 and had his critics, and he's a real rounded guy. Great crack as well, you know, can take it or leave it. Spoke about Shane O'Donnell beforehand. He's that type of character as well, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely, and it was definitely like what height is Peter? He's 6'3", but he's a gifted hurler as well. We were wondering, did he finish that there with 2 hands and 1 hand? To be honest, it was between the two of them, Hayes and himself. I thought both of them showed fierce leadership. To be fair to Hayes, with all the Cork forwards that were gone off, he still led the charge. He was the fella that was up here at times playing 1 versus 3 from an attack point of view. It was a very tight call between both of them. Both of them actually deserve man of the match, if you ask me.
If we just go back to how this Clare comeback came about, because you thought for a moment that perhaps there might have been a bit of a momentum killer when that incident happened with Alan Connolly and Adam Hogan as well.
It was stuff like this. You know, although we said the middle was maybe lost overall, but that's half back lines and, you know, both half back lines. But our midfielders both hurled really well. Taylor, what a flick, you know, and this looked like it was a mess up. David didn't get the first touch right. Mac Rogers, you know, up and down day for him. Great vision. I thought Aidan hurled really well as well. Maybe he was out in his feet and they took him off. But that's a fantastic finish. Like, it's akin to the earlier Cork goal.
Yeah, it's nearly the same thing. Getting caught, watching, not watching the danger, where the danger is, would take nothing away from Aidan. It was a fantastic run into space, and not the easiest to finish. Maybe an easy finish if it wasn't as much of a high pressure as this game. It was an excellent finish.
Again, like, it's just like Dougie gets the touchdown. Reedy's on the break. One hand. How many one-handed?
The key here, what's Reedy? The key here is you need to be always thinking ahead. It's fine margins. He looks on, he sees that the play is on here, he takes the chance, which every good forward, and then he's got the Cork defence caught just for that 1 yard that you're looking for. And how many times are we seeing in the modern game one-handed finishes? We saw Duggan getting one, we saw Connolly getting a super score with one hand, and again, one-hand finish.
I mentioned about the Clare injuries. I think maybe Robert Downey shouldn't have come out for that second half. He was heavily strapped. He looked to be caught there to get back, didn't he?
Definitely, but it's like fair play to Reedy not to take anything away from Anthony. Like,
fantastic
he looked
finish.
in, that was almost like a set play, one that you'd be practicing in training. He was going to go and get that yard, but Downey definitely was under pressure. So he went off after how many minutes was he gone in the second half? And that's a worry for Cork for next week. There was a couple of Cork players. They've got O'Brien was injured obviously for today. We saw Downey going off. 7 days turnaround, not much time. And
don't forget, we have a double header coming up for you next week of Munster hurling as well. For now though, you need to relax a little bit. Right? Don't see that happening for a while, but thank you anyway to Anthony and to Donal Logue as well. Colm and Lee are on their way for the Connacht football semi-final. Can it live up to this? Galway against Roscommon.
Takes a shot off! Oh, boy, what a goal! Here come Galway, they can finish it now. What a fabulous strike. And that's put it up to the tribesmen. Just set it in around the house and see what happens. Gleeson with a fabulous save.
Shane Walls this way and that. What about that? What a piece of brilliance. Roscommon reminding everybody that they're not to be dismissed.
It's the tribes against the Rossies.
Championship hurling, the clash of the ash, the midfield dash. Helmet and Hurley at the ready. Centra, proud sponsor.